The young man, simply because he carried two unparalleled blades, actually attracted the pursuit of all the masters in the martial world. From the very beginning, the top 100 masters gathered to surround him. Then, he faced one of the top 10 masters in the world, the demon sword, Jianghu. Without exception, everyone who had seen the young man did not return alive. He even sought out the richest man in Hebei, cut off his finger, and seized his wealth. Before leaving, he left behind a statement that he could openly seize everything from you wealthy merchants. It's truly good for this. The richest man in Hebei, united with other regional tycoons, spent half of his family fortune, hired the #1 assassin in the martial world, Ghostclaw, to kill the young man. After receiving the mission, Ghostclaw immediately began investigating the young man. From the mouth of a lovesick girl, he learned that he is the charming young hero Red Knight. There was also news of him making another move, to rob another wealthy man. The final intelligence he obtained was that he was about to participate in the martial arts conference. Then, following the clues, he arrived at the last room the young man stayed in. Inside the room, Ghostclaw saw a map, which said to dominate Hubei. Seeing this scene, Ghostclaw immediately confirmed the young man's location. This year's martial arts conference is being held in Hubei. It seems that catching him is just a matter of time. But why write to dominate Hubei? If you're going to write it, wouldn't it be better to write to dominate the world? Suddenly, a voice sounded from behind Ghostclaw. He originally planned to do so, but I stopped him and let him take it step by step. In the next moment, Ghostclaw fell into a coma. When he woke up again, he could only vaguely hear voices around him, discussing. Suddenly, Ghostclaw became fully alert. He saw that he was pinned to the wall by a sickle, and in front of him sat two old men and a middle-aged man, drinking tea and noticing that Ghostclaw had woken up. The old woman in front turned her back to him and said, "Child, you should have a cup, too." At this moment, Ghostclaw carefully observed the people in front of him. This aura also had two sickles. He is the most trusted person of the previous generation's demon lord. Supreme Demon Queen, Twin Demons Lion, Yang Huang, that old man with the sword. The patterns on the sword sheath must belong to the vanished hero. Cold Yi exuded a sense of oppression. A middle-aged man with extremely strong demonic energy is the demon sword Tianwu. These people are definitely in cahoots with that boy. After assessing the situation, he finally spoke tremulously. "Why don't you kill me?" Yang Huang smiled slightly. "We have already promised. Without his permission, we won't kill indiscriminately. But breaking the dantian, cutting off a leg's meridian, is still acceptable. Are you assassins afraid of death? I know assassins hide deadly poison under their big teeth." At this moment, Ghostclaw clearly understood what they meant, implying that rather than living in pain, it would be better to commit suicide. Moreover, there was simply no way to escape their control. Then he did not hesitate, and directly crushed the poison in his back molars. In the last moment of his life, he left his final words. "That boy named Kai Yan. I envy him greatly. To have such experts protecting him." But as he closed his eyes, he heard 3 loud laughs. "He really didn't need our protection." At this moment, in the largest Huayang Inn in Wuhan, Hubei, Sworn was facing the sumptuous feast in front of him, when suddenly, woman walked into the room. The waiter beside her kept apologizing to her. "Miss Zheng, I'm sorry. This is the only private room left. Could you please squeeze in?" After the girl sat down, she looked at a boy dressed like a dancer and asked, "Are you here to participate in the martial arts tournament?" Sworn suddenly laughed. "Of course, there should be many beauties participating this time, right? I have a face that women like. But I'm a bit nervous before the big event. Can't help but want to eat something." The girl suddenly looked a bit puzzled. Is it just because of the competition? Sworn suddenly raised the corner of his mouth. It's that kind of tournament, I will definitely win. My goal this year is to dominate Hubei. As soon as these words came out, this surprised the girl a bit. Dominate Hubei. Is this boy just bragging? But Kai Yan was still chattering on. So there are too many things that need careful thought. At times like this, I get really hungry. The girl only then realized. Winning at the tournament, then dominate Hubei. You really can brag, can't you? Suddenly, a figure opened the door and walked in. Passing by, I heard the voices. I was still thinking it wouldn't be so coincidental. Isn't this Miss Zheng from Zheng Jianmen? Long time no see. Since that's the case, let's have a drink together. Here. These few people are from one of Hubei's big gangs, Jiang Xingbang. The leader is the heir of the gang, Jiang Renji. Seeing Jiang Xingbang's people appear, the girl immediately showed her displeasure, staring at others. The issues with his body still haven't changed. Although she really wanted to punch him, she still held back. After entering the room, Jiang Renji also noticed Kai Yan beside him. Then he walked straight towards Kai Yan. There are others here too. Then he threw a few coins onto the food. This is your meal. Money. If you're done eating, give me your seat. Sworn pointed at you with his chopsticks. This amount of money isn't even enough for the food. There are still dishes to come. As soon as these words came out, it immediately made Jiang Renji lose face. When I was kindly advising you, don't be ungrateful. At this moment, he suddenly saw two weapons wrapped on the back. So you think you're a person of the Jianghu? Unwilling to lose face? Then let me see how your weapons are. The next moment, when Jiang Renji grasped the weapon, but he was stunned. There. Why is this knife so heavy? I can't lift it at all. If I back down now, it would definitely be embarrassing. His face suddenly gathered all his internal strength in his arm. He pulled it up with force. After a stalemate for a while, he finally lifted the knife up by 1 centimeter. Then he gasped and turned to look at Kai Yan. This is a tool for muscle training, right? It still has some weight. Sworn innocently walked over at this time. Easily took the knife. This is not a practice tool. This is my weapon. Jiang Renji's expression darkened. Internal strength continued to gather. Are you kidding me? Suddenly, a girl appeared, blocking between the two. Stop, don't fight here. This is an inn. Jiang Renji suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at the girl with a playful smile. With such a fiery gaze at me. Are you interested in me? But we just happened to be attending the Dragon and Phoenix banquet together. It wouldn't be bad to get close before that. The girl directly slapped Jiang Renji's hand away. Sorry, I've decided to team up with someone else. Do you think relying on family power can force me? Jiang Renji's expression suddenly became serious. Then who are you teaming up with? Kai Yan saw the girl show a difficult expression and immediately stood up. I am the one teaming up with him. The woman behind Jiang Renji quickly shouted, Kid, do you know who he is? Sworn turned around and asked, do you know who I am? People have two reactions to strangers, ignore or fear. But you have both. You don't know me, but you ignore me, yet you hope I fear that guy. Hearing this, the girl was somewhat at a loss. Seeing this, Jiang Renji immediately interrupted their conversation. Kid, you have quite a way with words. At this moment, the internal energy in Jiang Renji's hands was gathering more and more. Just a touch caused cracks to appear on the table. Sworn quickly shouted to Jiang Renji, be careful. Don't waste food. Jiang Renji immediately snorted coldly. Then we'll meet at the Dragon and Phoenix banquet. Several people left in a huff. Opened a restaurant. Sworn sighed. At this point in time, I can only modify my plan. This statement left the girl somewhat stunned. Modify the plan. Weren't you planning to attend the conference from the start? Suddenly, she remembered at this moment. The conference you mentioned earlier that you want to attend. Is it the Heavenly Dragon Battle? Kai Yan answered affirmatively. Of course, this made the girl unable to hold back her sarcasm. You're so impressive. Why didn't you take action? Kai Yan's words made the girl even angrier. I don't like fighting with kids like you. The reason this martial world has become like this is not because of you kids. Looking at Kai Yan's serious expression, the girl was also somewhat puzzled. Speaking with such a serious expression, it was as if it were real. Meanwhile, Jiang Renji's expression was cold as he walked out. Who exactly is that guy? That knife is very heavy. To lift it so easily. I've never heard of such a person in Wuhan. I need to investigate thoroughly. And that arrogant girl, daring to refuse me. I will make you both regret what happened today. At this time, the elders of the girl from Zheng Jianmen were extremely angry. I heard that Zheng Lion actually directly rejected young Master Jiang. Young Master Jiang is now so angry that he's causing a scene in a brothel. Beside her, Zheng Lion's mother was worried, but still defended, saying young Master Jiang has a bad reputation. I was just worried. Lianer is still young. We can't let him sacrifice for the family. Sitting beside them, Zheng Qi, the leader of Zheng Jianmen, felt very guilty. It's because I'm too weak. That's why the lady and the children suffer. As long as I master the righteous and evil sword techniques, our sword sect will have strength. The woman beside continued to embellish the story. If it's true, this is a very serious issue. At this time, Zheng Lion directly brought Kai Yan to Zheng Jianmen. This is the truth. He is the one who attended the Dragon and Phoenix banquet with me this time. As soon as these words were spoken, the three elders present were all shocked. Kai Yan immediately cupped his fists and approached. It was their first meeting. My name is Kai Yan. Zheng Qi was a bit confused, but still asked who the young hero was. Which school did you learn from? Kai Yan thought for a moment. My parents sell fruit near the Yumen Pass. This immediately shocked the four people present again. To ease the awkwardness, Zheng Qi continued to ask. What are the knife and sword on your back? Did you learn both knife techniques and sword techniques? Kai Yan naturally replied, yes. I learned both. I am a genius in every aspect. I inherited my parents' good bloodline. As soon as the word bloodline was mentioned, Zheng Qi immediately envisioned a scene. His martial arts. Could it be learned from his fruit-selling parents? After receiving Kai Yan's affirmative answer, Zheng Qi was petrified on the spot. Daughter, it's not that I don't believe you. The sister beside also leaned towards Zheng Lion. You must apologize to young Master Jiang tomorrow. After the conversation ended, Zheng Lion walked in the courtyard with a worried expression. It was because she was worried that this person would be harmed by Jiang Renji. That's why she brought him home temporarily. What should we do now? Zheng Lion suddenly looked at Kai Yan. He was standing alone in the courtyard in a daze. She then walked over to ask, what are you doing standing here? Can't you sleep? When Kai Yan saw that it was Zheng Lion, he turned around and said he had things to do tonight. I need to go out and kill a few people. As soon as these words were spoken, Zheng Lion felt embarrassed. Why does he always joke around? With such a murderous aura? Was that fruit store just a casual remark? He said, after breakfast tomorrow morning. You should leave here quickly. Upon hearing this, Kai Yan suddenly looked at Zheng Lion and smiled. Are you worried about me? Zheng Lion's face turned red immediately. She hurriedly walked away. I'm just worried that you might run into those from the Jiang family. Your parents will be worried about you. As the night grew deeper, outside a tower emitting a red glow, a few guards were sitting at the entrance, talking about the people they had recently killed, and bursts of laughter could be heard from time to time. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of them. Seeing this, the few of them burst into laughter. "Kid, who are you? Why are you standing here? Do you know where this is?" "A black shop, I know. It's called the Ronin Market." The few of them laughed again. The world has really changed for the better now. Even kids are catching up with black shops. Kai Yan's eyes revealed a fierce light. "If you keep calling me kid, I will kill you." One of them stood up directly. "I was going to let you go because you're just a kid. But you are too rude." In an instant, he swung his long knife straight at Kai Yan. Kai Yan, however, was not the least bit flustered. He slightly tilted his head to dodge the attack. In the next moment, his palm swung out, turning into countless afterimages, lightly slapping the man's waist. This instantly left him stunned. Seeing this, the three behind burst into laughter. "This idiot actually got hit by a kid. You might as well quit this line of work." Suddenly, the man standing in front of Kai Yan fell to the ground. The three behind then realized the seriousness of the situation. Kai Yan ignored the few of them and spoke to himself, "This moment is very important to me. Today is the first step I take for the future. So I have made up my mind." After the three reacted, they all drew their weapons. "Kid, what did you do?" At this time, Kai Yan had already drawn his long knife and approached the few of them. "If it were usual, I won't kill anyone." Then he slashed out with his knife. The bodies of the three were instantly bisected by the blade's light. "It's a pity you happened to run into me today. So goodbye." Just a moment later, there were no survivors in the black shop. Kai Yan also ascended layer by layer, arriving at the door of the top floor room. When he pushed the door open, inside sat a corpulent man, with several women serving him. Among them was even a hunched man, pouring wine on the side. Kai Yan was not afraid at all, slowly walking into the room. "It seems you all have a good atmosphere." After the fat man drank a glass of wine, he looked fiercely downwards. "Who do you want to buy?" Causing such a commotion, Kai Yan, covered in blood, grinned. "The most expensive person in this room." The laughter of the black shop owner above immediately echoed throughout the building. "A kid who hasn't even grown hair yet actually wants to buy me. Do you have that much money, kid?" "I want 500,000. Kai Yan threw a stack of banknotes from his pocket. "Here's 500,000 for you. Can this deal be completed?" The fat man looked down, his gaze sharp, thinking he was just a foolish loudmouth. Yet he was so wealthy. It seems he still has some money left in his bag. "If I say I want to raise the price, you would be disappointed, right? What if I kill you and take all the money?" Kai Yan revealed an evil smile. "Then I might be even more disappointed." The fat man waved his hand. Several women beside him walked to Kai Yan's side. "Then you would be even more disappointed." The fat man laughed at the bewitched kid. "The moment he entered this room, you've fallen for it." This is the ultimate technique to numb a man's rationality. The dance of extreme pleasure. But right in the middle of it, when the woman took out her weapon to attack Kai Yan, it was easily blocked by him. Then he looked at the woman with a smile. "Your dance is great, so I don't want to kill you." Then the weapon instantly disappeared from his hand, shooting forward. In an instant, the weapon directly shattered the colorful lights on the pillar behind the fat man. The several women beside Kai Yan were shocked. "What? He actually broke our restraints, and also discovered these lights are props used for the dance of extreme pleasure." At this moment, Oath finally asked the women behind, "Do any of you like this fat man?" The women exchanged glances, then finally spoke up. Of course, no one would like him. Oath then understood. "You were forced, right? In that case, you can leave without worrying about him." But looking at the fat man above, filled with killing intent, They didn't dare at all to move, but Oath wasn't afraid of the other party's anger. Continued, now. You just need to muster the courage to leave. The fat man suddenly laughed loudly, interrupting Kai Yan's words. Your speech is good. I promise, you all can leave here now. But if I catch you later, I will tear you to pieces. The women looked terrified, daring not to say much. At this time, Kai Yan showed an even fiercer expression than him. Then I'll turn you into meat sauce first. An invisible momentum erupted between the two, and they began to clash. Then the fat man felt like he had fallen into an ice cellar. What's going on? Where is this killing intent coming from? Till several voices of gratitude pulled him back from deep fear. At this moment, several women had already walked to the door, bowed and thanked Kai Yan. Thank you, young hero. You helped us leave. You even gave us so much money. We will not forget your kindness. The fat man was now burning with anger. I was actually scared stiff by this guy's killing intent. I could only watch them escape. What the hell is this? I really don't like this. Next moment, his arm suddenly swelled up, crushing the gold bracelet on his hand. Then he gently stepped forward, creating a large pit in the floor. At this moment, the fat man's body directly expanded several times. Today, I will let you see my unique martial arts. Seeing his body swell several times, Kai Yan became even more excited. If I hit you hard, will you get even bigger? Suddenly, the fat man threw a punch, smashing down fiercely in Kai Yan's direction. Seeing Kai Yan dodge, the fat man punched again, attacking him in midair. But Kai Yan remained calm, easily dodging the attack. The fat man grew even angrier. You little mouse that only knows how to dodge. I will crush you into powder sooner or later. At this time, Kai Yan had already reached above the fat man's head. I really dislike guys like you. Then he kicked fiercely at the fat man's head. He was like a cannonball. After being kicked several meters away, he smashed hard against the wall. Feeling the pain in his body, he erupted with even stronger power. But Kai Yan had no intention of stopping. With the flick of the stone in his hand, he directly broke the fat man's arm. After the arm was broken, the fat man could only weakly fall to the ground. This kid is a master and never seen before. Then, Kai Yan punched fiercely into the fat man's abdomen again. Suffering such a serious injury, the fat man could only weakly collapse to the ground. Kai Yan spoke at this time. I have already bought your life. I will take you away now. At this moment, the fat man could only respond weakly. Where do you want to use me? Kai Yan looked at him with a puzzled expression. What I want to buy is not you. It's him. He is a frail man, with no strength to even tie a chicken. But the young man fought for him, to wipe out the largest black shop in the martial world, just to redeem him from the black shop. This left the barely alive black shop owner very confused. With your strength, you could have taken him away quietly. Why did you have to kill me? And he is just a useless person. But the vow ignored the shop owner's impending death, turned to look over. Finally met you. Makeup master, or I should call you Huayou Ta. The frail man showed a bitter expression. What a nostalgic name. The vow continued to walk forward. I didn't expect the dignified owner of the Ghost Iron Villa, renowned as the #1 formation in the martial world, and a genius of mechanisms and hidden weapons, came here to find you. I spent quite a bit of time on this. Are you still unable to overcome that matter? Once, Ghost Iron Villa was well known in the martial world, a family famous for its unparalleled mechanism skills. Hu Wuti is a man with outstanding talent and a happy family. But all this happiness came to an end when his daughter touched an unfinished mechanism. Hu Wuti, who lost his family in an accident before, hated his own foolishness. After changing his appearance, he disappeared. After a long silence, Hua Wuti spoke again. How could I possibly forget that matter? The vow looked at Hua Wuti, who was in tears, and comforted him. You are a good person. Because you can't forget the loss of your family. A good person who suffers for a lifetime. Hua Wuti was stunned at these words. What a strange guy. He risked his life to save me, a stranger. After you bought me, what do you plan for me to do? The vow is simply for words, conquer the martial world. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly froze. Then Hua Wuti suddenly laughed. Is this my new fate? Then Hua Wuti directly knelt down. Hua Wuti pays respects to the Lord. I will dedicate the rest of my life entirely to my Lord. Kai Yan suddenly gathered flames in both hands. Then let's give it a try. Then a piercing scream echoed throughout the building. And suddenly a shadow appeared on the treetops outside. Is the young master still fighting? Inside the building, Hua Wuti, after Kai Yan's treatment, was already able to stand upright. What kind of power is this? Since you can help me return to my original state. Thank you so much, young master. The shadow outside the building has now entered the room. You finally succeeded. This person is Wu Ying, the guard of Kai Yan. Kai Yan immediately introduced Hua Wuti. He is my guard, Wu Ying. He will be responsible for what you will do in the future. This time our plan has changed. First, take care of the Palm Heart Gang. Wu Ying looked a bit confused. Young master, didn't you say before that the Palm Heart Gang isn't worth our effort? And you suddenly want to attend the Dragon and Phoenix banquet. The vow doesn't matter. People's hearts can change at any time and place. Don't think about it anymore. Wu Ying glanced at him. I only know that you are a fickle man. Li Yan smiled indifferently. Your jealousy is truly frightening. The next day, at the Palm Heart Gang's entrance, Zheng Kia and Zheng Lion had already arrived at the entrance. We must resolve this matter before it escalates. It's necessary to deal with this issue. Suddenly, the main gate of the Palm Heart Gang opened. A man greeted Zheng Kia warmly. It turns out to be the great hero Zheng. I came at the invitation of the gang leader. I didn't expect to run into you. And this person turned out to be the skilled fighter Buffet Yishu from the martial world. Zheng Kia quickly cupped his hands in response, but inwardly he thought, it seems I won't be able to meet the gang leader this time. Buffet Yishu suddenly approached enthusiastically and just happened to meet. Let's have a drink together. Unable to refuse, Zheng Kia could only reluctantly agree. All of this was seen by Zhang Renji from the tall building of the Palm Heart Gang. He watched it all. Then, Buffet Yishu directly took Zheng Kia and Zheng Lion into the Spring Breeze Inn, and they started drinking the most expensive bear bile wine. At the table, Buffet Yishu and Zheng Kia chatted and laughed. At some point, Zheng Kia also mentioned the purpose of his visit. Buffet Yishu readily agreed to help intercede. After a hearty meal and drinks, Buffet Yishu suddenly ran out, shouting that he had an urgent matter and forgot to leave first. In helplessness, Zheng Kia could only go settle the bill himself, but when he received the bill, he was shocked to discover that the bottle of wine they just drank cost 120 taels, and the prices of these chives were also unusually high. Although he knew he might have been scammed, Zheng Kia could only sigh. I don't have enough money today. Can I pay tomorrow? The boss then revealed his intentions. We don't accept credit. But seeing how pitiful you are, gang leader, I can help you out. You go get the money. Leave your daughter here. Zheng Kia immediately stood in front of several people. Do you want to take my daughter as a hostage? Of course, you have no money. So he can only act as a guarantor. If you really have no money, your daughter can also take clients. Hearing this, Zheng Kia was extremely angry, but did not dare to act recklessly. This is not an ordinary tavern, and the people in front of me are quite skilled. Their martial arts are about the same as mine. Suddenly, A voice came from behind the crowd. Master, we meet again. I saw Kai Yan wearing a red outfit at this time, walking towards the counter. Then he slammed the wine jug directly on the counter. Boss, the wine tastes a bit strange. Did you put something in it? And I just heard in the room that a big shot would come here. You actually sold fake wine to a big shot. The boss's eyes were cold, and he gave this person a warning glance. I think you're drunk. It's best to keep your voice down. But the vow shouted out loud. The bare bile wine sold here is fake. In an instant, a crowd of diners gathered around the counter. Seeing more and more people gather, the boss could only hurriedly apologize. He was just drunk and acting crazy. Everyone, don't mind it. But the vow was fearless. Acting crazy? Let me show you the evidence. If I can prove this wine is fake, then today's income of this shop belongs to me. The boss looked coldly at the young man in front of him. What if you can't prove it? Kai Yan sneered disdainfully. Then let you soak my gall in wine. Then, Kai Yan directly led the crowd of diners to the tavern's backyard. Every time a servant takes wine from here, don't you find it strange? Why is the wine hidden so far away? And it's locked on the iron gate. Seeing this, the boss still wanted to explain a few words. Kai Yan directly destroyed the storage room and took out the wine barrel. The boss immediately became anxious and wanted to stop him. He must be stopped. If the customers see this, the consequences would be unimaginable. In that case, I can only kill this young man first, and then take the wine amidst the chaos. But Kai Yan had no intention of giving them a chance to react, and directly smashed the entire wine barrel. In an instant, wine mixed with unknown insects flew everywhere. This left the diners who witnessed the scene terrified. How could there be insects in this wine? But the vow cheerfully picked up a bowl of wine. Who dares to drink it? The young man simply leaped lightly, and actually used the legendary void step, while continuously climbing upwards, and even holding someone along the way. This scene left the famous buffet Yi Shu of the Jianghu extremely surprised. Are you some kind of monster that has returned to youth? How can someone so young use such martial arts? But what awaited him? Was the young man drawing the hell blade from his back? At this moment, in the tavern, the young man handed out the bowl of wine. Everyone retreated in a flurry. The young man directly took out the insects from the bowl of wine. This insect is called the devour insect. Its smell is very similar to bear bile, especially its excrement. The smell is quite similar. Ordinary taste buds cannot distinguish the difference between the two. Upon hearing this, the surrounding diners were all shocked. Could it be that what we've been drinking for so long is excrement? Suddenly, an old voice came from behind. How do you know this? The other tavern owner was immediately shocked. Lord Yang Ming, this old man is precisely the distinguished guest who came to the tavern today. Difficult to encounter even the host, since the end of the righteous and demonic war 13 years ago. The severely damaged 9 helpers and 4 great families have sealed their doors, and the demonic sect has hidden away again. Taking advantage of this opportunity, 4 major forces have emerged in the martial world. The northern Chuan Bajia under Fenjian City, and the southern Yulian. Among them, the strongest are the northern Chuan Bajia and the southern Yulian. This seemingly ordinary old man is one of the most powerful figures in the martial world. It is said that the Hua insect only lives in the southern barbarians. How do you know? The people around saw the old man. All lowered their heads, daring not to look directly, but the oath-taker looked at the old man fearlessly. Replied that I have been wandering since I was young. Naturally, I have heard of it. Yang Ming looked at such a young man and couldn't help but admire him. Your knowledge is quite impressive. Where are you from? Qian still uses the same old story. My parents are the top fruit merchants of Yuyang Pass. Upon hearing this, Yang Ming suddenly laughed out loud. What an interesting kid. Are you deliberately hiding your identity? At this time, a subordinate stepped forward. Let me taste the truth. As he took a sip, his face immediately showed a fierce expression. This damn, stinking woman tastes exactly the same as what I just drank. The surrounding diners were instantly shocked. So what we've been drinking for so long is insect feces. The diners were also furious at this moment. All rushed towards the owner. Meanwhile, in the woods outside the city, a man was rushing quickly. This matter must be conveyed. It concerns the fate of the martial world. Suddenly, a figure chased after him. The man hurriedly drew his sword. Damn, have I been caught up so quickly? But he saw the figure take out a token. It's someone from the Righteous Alliance. The man quickly conveyed the message. I am from the northern Chuan Bajia. There's no time left. I'll get straight to the point. Cancel this dragon and phoenix banquet and the heavenly dragon battle. There is a flying sage society that wants to plot something at this conference. Suddenly, two dark figures appeared behind. The man quickly exclaimed, damn it. I've been caught up. I'll be the bait. You hurry and escape. Tell the Righteous Alliance about this. But the person next to the man suddenly asked, besides, no one knows this information, right? In a moment of urgency, the man immediately replied, you are the first person to know. But the person showed a sinister smile. That's really great. In the next moment, a sword directly decapitated the man. You heard wrong. We are not the Flying Sage Society, but the Flying Banquet Society. Just then, on the branches above, a woman's figure suddenly appeared. I knew you would do well. This dragon and phoenix banquet will be a nightmare. At this time, Kai Yan and Zheng Lion, who had finished at the tavern, were on their way back. Because the recent troubles have increased, they felt really hungry. Zheng Lion awkwardly started a conversation. Is it because of the dominance over Hubei? But I still want to thank you today. For this matter, it must have been Jiang Renji and the boxing instructor who instructed the boss's wife to do this. At first, I was actually thinking of attending the dragon and phoenix banquet with such scum. Zheng Lion smiled slightly. So let's participate together. I will make you win. Zheng Lion turned sharply with a fierce gaze. All right, even if we can't get first place, we must crush Jiang Renji's arrogance. Zheng Lion looked at the confident Zheng Lion and smiled. Since you have this plan, that's good. But before that, we need to deal with that guy first. Just then, the boxer who had just run away appeared behind them. Did you provoke Jiang Renji? The spy planted in the inn told me. There's a strange guy causing trouble. Jiang Renji sent me to kill you. But the mouth of this girl next to you is also a problem. Zheng Lion was immediately taken aback. Is killing someone really just for this? However, this time he also knows what the other party said must be the truth. I can already sense the killing intent. He really wants to kill us. Can the two of us win together? The boxer is a well-known expert. When he strikes, his hand speed is so fast it looks like he has 8 hands. So people in the martial world gave him a nickname. They call him 8 Flying Hands. But at this moment, the Vow suddenly took a step back and came behind Zheng Lion. Help! Seeing this scene, Zheng Lion trembled even more. I have to face such an expert alone. Seeing Zheng Lion's nervous appearance, Qian quietly reminded, first you need to draw your sword. Zheng Lion immediately reacted. That's right, I can't just sit and wait. But the boxer suddenly laughed. Since you want to die first, then I'll grant you that. Then he shot forward like a cannonball, charging straight at Zheng Lion. Zheng Lion was directly shocked by the boxer's strength, causing him to misstep in his evasion, and he accidentally fell against a tree trunk. What awaited him was the boxer, who struck down with several consecutive blows. Because he fell, Zheng Lion barely dodged this attack. with a face full of despair. This is completely different from my practice. If I can't beat him, I will really die. The vow's voice suddenly came from the side. Don't follow the rhythm. You need to follow the sword in your hand. The sword moves first, then the steps. At this moment, Jeok Leegeon also understood. That's right, focus on the sword. Then he swung his sword and followed with his steps, pushed the boxer back. He understood. I must give it my all. If I lose, we will both die. Then with several consecutive strikes, I pushed the boxer back. But upon closer inspection, I found the boxer still had the upper hand. You don't think this little trick will work on me, do you? Then I looked for the right opportunity and struck out with a palm, directly sending Jeok Leegeon flying. Damn, I really am no match for him. What should I do? The vow was still chattering on. Your sword technique is a heavy sword. Why do you jump around every time you swing your sword? Jeok Leegeon recalled what his father said when teaching him the exorcism sword technique. The exorcism sword technique has endless variations, based on light and agile steps. I practiced for 10 years. Could it be that the method is wrong? The voice continued to echo in Jeok Leegeon's ears. You should be slow like a turtle, soft like water, and deliver a fatal blow at the right moment. Upon hearing this, Jeok Leegeon gritted his teeth. Anyway, continuing like this means death. Let's give it a try. Then, following what Kai Yan said, he swung the long sword in his hand. After a few moves, he actually cut the hair on the boxer's forehead. But this scene made the boxer extremely angry. He immediately used all his strength. You arrogant girl! With one palm strike, he sent Jeok Leegeon flying into the sky, spitting blood, and fell into a deep unconsciousness. But the next second, Jeok Leegeon in the sky suddenly disappeared. The boxer was momentarily stunned in place. Where did that girl go? A voice suddenly came from behind him. I'm right here. At this moment, in the sky behind him, Kai Yan stood in the air, stepping on the void. The boxer was directly shocked into a daze by this scene. This is stepping on the void. Kai Yan slowly walked down from the sky, step by step. This is the falling flower step in the thunderbolt step. Few in the martial world know about it. This is a martial art from my father's side. The boxer suddenly trembled all over. Are you reversing aging? How could there be such martial arts? But the next moment, what awaited him was a heavy punch from Kai Yan. With this punch, it directly caused the boxer to spit blood. He fell heavily to the ground. The difference in strength between him and me is like heaven and earth. I simply cannot defeat him. Now, the only option is to run away. However, Kai Yan had no intention of letting him go. His hand slowly reached behind him. This is also the first time Kai Yan has taken out the weapon from behind. All around him, the demonic energy was rampant. It continuously emitted the wails of ghosts and howls of wolves. And this weapon is known as the Hell Blade, the strongest sharpening knife. Then he swung the blade. Countless dark shadows appeared around, rushing forward. Since he was born, he has carried 2 weapons on his back. One of them is the legendary Hell Blade. Within the Hell Blade, it seals a mysterious evil power. Just by swinging the blade, it can unleash a malevolent force that devours everything. Moreover, that evil power can even track the target the wielder intends to attack. Those who are eroded by this power, their bodies are instantly covered in bloodlines. In the next moment, they are directly burst apart by this force. Their bodies are torn to pieces. The boy who draws the blade will also be influenced by it, becoming a demon who enjoys killing. So after he kills the enemy, he immediately puts away the weapon. He carries the unconscious Jeok Leegeon on his back, heading home. After a while, Jeok Leegeon gradually wakes up from his coma. He sees himself being carried on the boy's back. and feels shy. I'm awake. Put me down quickly. Kai Yan, however, does not listen to him, continuing to carry him. Don't put me down, you're injured. But that guy really is unlucky. He was actually hit by your last sword before you fainted. I saw him fall and hurriedly went up to stab him again. Upon hearing this, Zheng Lion's face turned pale. I stabbed him. And I even killed him. Kai Yan glanced at him. Could he be a zombie? How could he still be alive after being stabbed in the heart? As soon as these words were spoken, Zheng Lion trembled in fear. He's dead. I actually killed someone. Seeing this, Kai Yan could only comfort him. Don't take it so seriously. That kind of person deserves to die. Moreover, after drawing the sword, if you can't harden your heart, that would be an insult to the sword. Zheng Lion looked at the person in front of him and suddenly felt he was an unpredictable person. He clearly looks silly, but sometimes he seems to turn into another person. Suddenly, a voice interrupted his thoughts. It's just beginning now. Night is just the first step we take. There will be the dragon and phoenix feast and the heavenly dragon battle later. Then there's the plan to dominate Hubei. After a while, Zheng Lion, still in a daze, nodded heavily. There's still a long way to go. Meanwhile, on a small path in the distance, the three former top experts were sitting on a donkey cart. Shuangmo, along with Yang Huiying and the knight, looked fiercely at Tianwu, who was in front. Did you buy the things? Tianwu looked embarrassed, pulling out a basket of dumplings from behind. Here it is. The two old men joyfully picked up the dumplings and started eating. We are about to reach Wuhan. Walking so leisurely isn't bad either. It reminds me of the past. Do you know what this old guy said to me 20 years ago? The first time he met me? What did he say? Tianyi suddenly exploded with rage. Why are you bringing this up again? Back then, when he saw me, he drew his sword and lowered his voice, saying, Supreme Demon Empress, I'm not interested in the bad things you did in the past. But if you dare to step on my young master's shadow, I will make you die on the spot. Tianyi awkwardly shook his head. At that time, I still couldn't tell the heights of heaven and earth. Yang Huiying, seeing Tianyi like this, laughed even more happily. Tianwu was a bit confused at this moment. Who did the young master refer to back then? Yang Huiying replied, Of course, it was Qian's father. Who else could it be? Tianyi laughed. Time really flies. This statement has already grown to the age to participate in the Dragon and Phoenix Feast. Those little guys are going to be in big trouble. Tianwu retorted, That's impossible. Young Master Qian wouldn't take action against children if they haven't done anything disgraceful. At this moment, Zhang Renji was extremely angry. That guy is still alive? One of the subordinates immediately replied, Yes. I just saw him and Miss Zheng come out of the entrance. Zhang Renji was instantly furious. He slammed the table and punched. What the hell is that guy doing? He can't even handle something as simple as killing them. But he hasn't returned since he went out yesterday. There hasn't been any news since then. This made Zhang Renji's heart sink to the bottom. The punch has disappeared. That guy is still alive and kicking. Could it be that guy killed with a punch? The next moment, he suddenly laughed out loud. Am I going crazy? How could I have such a thought? Although I don't know how he survived. But by the time of the Dragon and Phoenix Feast, we will know whether it was strength or just pure luck. As time passed, it quickly arrived at the day when the Baishuan family held the Dragon and Phoenix Feast. Countless young heroes rushed to Wuhan to gather. Among them were not lacking the young masters and ladies of prominent families in the martial world. Even the current overlords of the martial world. The four major families also participated. The heir of the Baishuan family, the heir of Nanyu, and among them, the beauties were countless. At this moment, Qian stood out like a sore thumb, constantly waving to thank everyone for their support. I will definitely win. Don't worry, this made the surrounding audience feel awkward. Who is this guy? Do you know him? Standing behind Qian, Jeok Leegeon, at this moment wished she could bury her face in the ground. Isn't he nervous at all? I actually feel a bit envious of his thick skin. Then Qian cheekily looked at him. This outfit is quite nice. Is the Bai Xuan family very wealthy? Seeing this scene, Jeok Leegeon couldn't help but smile happily, answering a question that wasn't asked. Is this it? Qian, let's cheer together this time. Seeing Jeok Leegeon smile so happily, Qian immediately replied, okay. A loud shout suddenly interrupted their warmth. The dragons and phoenixes of Group 8 are entering from here. Seeing this, Jeok Leegeon hurriedly pulled Qian to run over. After reaching the front, the person said, after you enter the room, don't touch anything. Just wait inside. Upon hearing this, Qian was a bit confused. Why does it sound like they hope we touch something? At this time, the room was already filled with people discussing this conference. Seeing this scene, Jeok Leegeon was also a bit confused. What are they all waiting for inside? Could it be that the first challenge is a competition? Kai Yan, however, did not pay attention to Jeok Leegeon's words. He stared blankly ahead. Seeing this, he also looked in the direction Kai Yan was looking. What are you looking at? He saw a plaque hanging above that said, entering the conference. Does it mean that after entering the room, the conference is about to start? Yuan Yan laughed. It really is as I thought. Don't you think this painting looks a bit strange? Upon hearing this, Jeok Leegeon carefully observed the painting below the plaque. After a while, Jeok Leegeon suddenly shouted, I know. There are 18 people inside, each holding different weapons. It's the 18 weapons. The oath is direct. He opened his mouth to say, it's not the 18 weapons. It's a trap to attract attention. Take a closer look. There are other things hidden inside. After observing for a while, Jeok Leegeon finally noticed something. The people from the martial world there seem to be fighting, but they are all looking at the same place. It's the incense burner in the hands of that old man at the bottom. The first dragon and phoenix banquet that dominates Hubei has finally begun. Among them, it gathers the heirs of the top forces in the martial world. And what the young man has to do is to defeat them all. However, just as they entered the banquet hall, everyone was warned not to touch anything. The young man, however, in the shocked gazes of everyone, picked up the incense burner in the center of the hall. It was seen that under this incense burner, the words Dragon and Phoenix Hall were actually written. As soon as they entered, the plaque above said, enter and start the meeting. So finding this means knowing how to enter the next level. Suddenly, a loud shout rang out. You two kids, didn't you hear that you're not supposed to touch anything? The examiners don't care. I can't just watch you make a mess. Quick, put it down. The young man, however, looked indifferent. Young people sometimes need to learn to resist the rules. Seeing that the young man wouldn't listen to him, the man directly stepped forward to grip the long sword. He couldn't communicate at all. I can only teach you a lesson. Suddenly, Kai Yan flashed to the man's side and pushed his sword back to the sword holder. You trash. Don't humiliate yourself here. The man immediately trembled all over, unable to move. Who on earth is he? Suddenly, a small hand placed on the man's sword handle. Brother, we can't just act recklessly. And we definitely shouldn't draw our swords against the weak. Then turned to Kai Yan and bowed his head. Young hero, I apologize for the offense. Seeing this, Kai Yan did not pay attention to the two children. In that case, we're leaving. The surrounding contestants were immediately astonished. They actually walked out on their own. At the door, Kai Yan turned to look at a man and a woman. Although you are very foolish, for your sister's sake, I can give you a chance. If you want to enter the second checkpoint, follow me. But the man remained exceptionally stubborn. He angrily said to the young man, "Did you not hear that leaving here means disqualification?" The oath laughed twice upon hearing this, and without hesitation turned to leave. After exiting, the two walked straight towards the location of the Dragon and Phoenix Hall. Zhang Lion looked at this hall and was truly surprised. But this question is so difficult. There shouldn't be many people passing, right? But when they opened the door, they saw that the Dragon and Phoenix Hall was already filled with many people. This left Zhang Lion extremely shocked. How is that possible? Such a difficult question. Kai Yan observed the surroundings, smiled a little. They must have given information to the prominent families in advance. Look, that fool arrived here before us. Following the direction Kai Yan pointed, they saw Jiang Renji standing among them. Upon seeing the arrival of the two, Jiang Renji had an unfriendly expression. This girl. Seeing my expression so bad, it can be confirmed they have met with the boxer. What on earth is going on? I clearly told the boxer to take this guy out. What did he go do? Does this guy have a backer? It doesn't seem like it. Or did the boxer take the money and run? Suddenly, a gong sound interrupted Jiang Renji's thoughts. A person slowly walked out from above. The dragons and phoenixes gathered here. Congratulations on passing the first checkpoint safely. The crowd in the hall immediately erupted, cheering. Suddenly, a voice interrupted their celebration. The man who had just stopped the oath rushed to the door, cursing that this exam is invalid. Some people here have already been eliminated. They are not qualified to participate in the second exam. As soon as these words were spoken, it caused a stir among the people in the Dragon and Phoenix Hall. The proctor above also turned gloomy. You say our assessment is invalid. But the man was still chattering on. When we entered the room, the organizers clearly told us, don't touch anything. And we were just following orders. They broke the rules. It should be them who are disqualified. Suddenly, many people gathered from behind, shouting, "That's right, this is unfair. This competition is invalid." The proctor above is extremely angry at this moment. You useless people. Don't shout. Do you think this world is a joke? In this world, you never know what might happen. Keep your eyes wide open. Always stay on high alert. You were too careless. It was written on the wall. The moment we entered the room, the exam begins. Could it be that you will be killed by an assassin? You didn't notice. And then protest about the unfairness? In the end, who to protest to? Yama? Don't you feel guilty for uncovering this secret? To the people who came here. The few people at the door suddenly fell silent. How could this be? I was just doing what you said. Under the invalid protest, they had no choice but to leave the group. But the proctor above had a sinister expression, thinking to themselves, you should be grateful for being eliminated. The upcoming Dragon and Phoenix Feast will become the first trial of hell. After the assessment ends, Qian came alone to a sea of flowers at night. As he continued to move towards the sea of flowers, the originally ordinary flowers suddenly exploded into pieces, then transformed into countless soaring stone pillars. Seeing this scene, Qian actually smiled. Very cool, Master Hua. Hua Wutian immediately pressed the switch. I will. The previous formation was the strange Flower 9 Palace formation, the simplest of the three formations in the manner. The second formation is the 5 elements, 7 stars formation. The last formation is the Great Luo Ming Wang formation. When activating the Great Luo Ming Wang formation, if you don't know the method to break the formation, I can guarantee no expert can escape. But Qian retorted, this just means, clearly this is a very terrifying formation. But, Master Hua, you made a mistake. Even if you don't know how to break the formation, there must be martial arts to break the formation. This left Hua Wutian somewhat puzzled. Martial arts to break the formation. After feeling the formation, Qian began to explore the surroundings with Wang. Behind the 3 formations, there will be 7 segments of the road of death. Major buildings will be established behind. Swearing looked at the continuously improving area, showing an excited expression. Now, we need to establish the most powerful, the coolest sect in the martial world. Wang spoke again. I have already found the whereabouts of the wind god. Just as we thought. Swearing immediately nodded. I'll go find him personally tomorrow. This surprised Wang a bit. Why the sudden change? Could it be that you have someone to send? Swearing looked at the other person speechlessly. Wang, this habit of yours is quite bad. Asking knowingly. Deliberate probing. But the night scenery always stirs my emotions, although I don't know the reason. Do you think I can get all the lights below? Then the two looked at the prosperous Wuan below. Young master, no one in this martial world can do better than you. This seemingly ordinary transparent glove. The young man, however, spent 100,000 taels of gold to buy it. Is because the owner of this glove was from 300 years ago. The weapon used by the world's #1 expert, Feng Shen. After putting on the gloves, not only can it enhance your power, but it can even block sword energy with your hands. And when the 2 gloves are worn separately, they will have a wonderful reaction when close together. Early in the morning, the young man pulled Zheng Lion out the door. You aren't saying anything at all. Where exactly are you taking me? The young man continued walking ahead. I'm taking you to a real place that sells weapons. Your eye for weapons is really poor. Then, Kai Yan directly brought him to a black market weapon shop. Looking at the old man in front of him, Zheng Lion felt uncomfortable all over. And even a bit scared. The weapons may look good, but the atmosphere here is so terrifying. And didn't he say it was his first time in Wuhan? How does he know about this black market? After Kai Yan looked around, he asked the shop owner, is there only this kind of stuff here? The shop owner looked at the 2 weapons Kai Yan was carrying on his back, and suddenly laughed. I knew you wouldn't be interested in these. You must want something else. Since you have such good taste, let me show you weapons that suit your status. Then, the shop owner took out a box emitting a blue glow. This is the ice jade hand. Zheng Lion looked at the weapon in the box, and couldn't help but exclaim how beautiful the dagger was. At that moment, a single sentence made him gasp in shock. This weapon costs 15,000 taels. Swearing, however, readily accepted this price. If I buy it, is there a free gift? This left the shop owner a bit puzzled. What kind of gift do you want? Swearing spoke directly. I'll just take one randomly from you. The shop owner immediately began to think. He knew that everything here was ordinary items. Why would he still want these things? But he still agreed on the spot. Kai Yan pointed directly in one direction. Then I'll take this one. This gesture not only surprised the shop owner, but also left Zheng Lion in shock. Are you joking? After recovering, the shop owner smiled. Sure, but may I ask your name? When the shop owner learned Kai Yan's name, he was also a bit puzzled. I've never heard that name before. But this young man actually recognized this item. Does that mean his master, or his own internal strength, is very strong? Could it be that the knife and sword behind him then responded, it's not easy. This item has finally found its owner. Will I be able to see you again? Swearing suddenly laughed. After receiving the gift, we'll have plenty of chances to meet. The secret exchange between the two left Zheng Lion feeling confused. Just after leaving the black market, Zheng Lion began to speak up. Constantly outputting. You idiot. How can you buy a flying dagger for 15,000 taels? And the gift you wanted is just a broken glove? Are you crazy or just an idiot? No, you're a crazy idiot. What's wrong? Where did you get so much money? Or are you the young master of a wealthy family? After Kai Yan cleaned the glove, he turned to him and said, "Stop talking and give me your hand. You put this on. It can help you improve your martial arts. You've been stuck at the 7th level, right?" This made Zhang Lion a bit puzzled. "How do you know my power is at the 7th level? And can this really help me? You're not lying to me, are you?" Kai Yan, however, shamelessly said, "There's nothing in this world that I don't know." Then he held Zhang Lion's hand. "Even inconspicuous things can have unique powers. When putting on the glove, you need to hold it with a sincere heart and feel it." Hearing this, Zhang Lion was taken aback. Then he nodded vigorously, swearing directly, put the glove on Zhang Lion's hand. As soon as the glove was put on, a dazzling light radiated from all around. Then a wild wind began to swirl around. Zhang Lion hurriedly asked what this thing was. There was a strange power. Before he could react, the strong wind suddenly surged into the glove. That glove instantly fused completely with Zhang Lion's palm. Strange auras began to spread continuously within Zhang Lion's body. What kind of power is this? This is not an ordinary weapon. It is definitely a divine object. Swearing saw everything calm down and said he accepted you. I really didn't misjudge you. You have this kind of talent. Puzzled, Zhang Lion looked at the glove in his hand. Accepted my mom. What is the wind on this? Swearing directly took out his own glove as well. To say hello. This is the wind, God. Both of them wear one. When we get close, the gloves will react. But right now, your internal power is too weak. You can't feel it. But I can know. This is a legendary item. The owner of the glove was the #1 master in the world 300 years ago. The boxing king, Wind God. In a word, he is the treasure among treasures. You can now use your hand to block sword energy. But your internal power is too weak and will hurt your hand. But it definitely won't be cut down by a sword. At this time, Kai Yan looked back and saw Zhang Yan standing there in a daze. Why are you so good to me? Swearing did not answer, just smiled a little, looking at the girl in front of him. Soon night fell, and the second challenge of the Dragon and Phoenix Feast arrived. In the center of the challenge, there was a stone slab placed, and the stone slab is also covered with footprints. The examiner saw everyone gathered, and immediately spoke up. This year's second challenge of the Dragon and Phoenix Feast is to test your steps. The exam content is very simple. Just go from here to there. But there are 2 conditions. You must step on the footprints here, and 2 people must cooperate together. Suddenly, the participants began to discuss among themselves. The steps are simpler than I thought. Then I feel like it will definitely be fine. Anyone who has practiced martial arts can do it, right? It's simply child's play. Seeing a few people discussing, the examiner couldn't help but laugh. There's even an heir from the Southern Yue Alliance here. What a useless person. The second challenge won't provide any convenience for prestigious families. The examiners are all unrelated to the 4 overlords of the world. Can the kid from Southern Yue pass this challenge? At this moment, Kai Yan has already seen the trick. This challenge is not easy. Everyone has their own martial arts habits. Especially in terms of steps, it's more obvious, because it's done unconsciously. But if you pay too much attention to the steps, your body movements will become chaotic, and they also have to act together. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yan turned to look at Kai Yan. Then let's first see how others do it, and then correct ourselves. Suddenly, a voice rang out. I'll start the challenge first, Kai. Yan Jing revealed a smile. What an interesting guy. No matter what, the first one is always very meaningful. And the person who stood up was Lin Xia, the heir of the Baishuan overlord family. The young man was just in the ring, watching the girl use the legendary exercising sword. and directly allowing the girl's power to increase by 2 levels. This left the girl feeling incredibly shocked. After the sword was swung out, it felt completely different from before. And how did he come to have the family sword technique? At this moment, in the Dragon and Phoenix Feast, Lin Xie and his companion Sima Ying were already standing in front of the checkpoint. The audience above immediately began to discuss. Young hero Lin is indeed the heir of the Baishuan overlord family. He looks very capable. At this moment, the young man was also intently watching the movements of the two below. At this time, Lin Xie displayed his footwork, gently stepping on the stone slab. His movements were incredibly light and elegant. This scene made many girls in the audience above feel enchanted. And Sima Ying behind him was not falling behind either. Following closely in front, Lin Xie's companion saw this scene, couldn't help but exclaim how fast they were. Can we really pass? The assessment officials around looked at the two at the checkpoint and also began to nod in agreement. Being able to quickly and accurately step on the footprints on the stone slab is indeed worthy of being the heir of the Baishuan overlord family. But compared to him, Miss Sima seemed a bit strained. He was still desperately chasing after the young hero Lin's pace. However, considering that his competitor was at 0 level, there would be a noticeable gap. Soon, the two stabilized their pace and reached the end of the second checkpoint. The competition venue immediately announced the results. Sima Ying passed. Cheers erupted all around. This scene made the heir of the Southern Yi Alliance, who is also one of the 4 overlords of the Jianghu, look displeased. Seeing the situation on the field, Zheng Lion couldn't help but feel nervous. I'm a bit scared. Can we really pass? Zheng Lion surprisingly responded with a smile, saying no. This left Zheng Lion in shock. You say, we can't do it? We haven't even started yet. Zheng Lion directly pulled him up. It's not that we can't do it. Before going up, we need to practice a bit. Let's see if they can clear it. It's useful to imitate their steps. Most people will ultimately be eliminated. This is for those who can only step to their own rhythm. An exam that can only be passed with talent. With our current level, we will definitely fail. The two then went directly to the outside of the second level's courtyard. This place is nice. No one is watching you demonstrate the evil repelling sword technique. I'll help you correct it. This exam cannot be passed with your evil repelling sword technique at level 7. This surprised Zheng Lion a bit. You want to help me correct the evil repelling sword technique? Can you really grasp the essence of martial arts just by watching once? Who exactly are you? Are you really a top martial arts master? Kai Yan avoided the question. Don't worry. I can teach you easily. Upon hearing this, Zheng Lion did not hesitate. He drew out his long sword. Although he didn't know what it meant, then I'll give it a try. In an instant, Zheng Lion executed the once renowned evil repelling sword technique. Step by step, he kept closing in on Kai Yan. At this moment, Kai Yan also followed Zheng Lion's steps in executing the sword technique. After observing a set of sword techniques, Kai Yan quickly called for a stop. Wait, this part needs to slow down a bit. At this time, Zheng Lion swung his sword again as Kai Yan instructed. After this strike was made, a powerful aura erupted, which instantly left Zheng Lion in disbelief. Was this really just half a beat slow? It felt completely different from when I swung my sword before. Then, as he continued to swing his sword, Kai Yan watched the sword technique and began to give him pointers. As he kept swinging the sword, Zheng Lion felt it was incredible. Every word he said brought terrifying changes to my sword technique, especially this last strike. It was completely different from what I had executed before. As Zheng Lion executed the final strike, a dazzling sword light suddenly appeared. And then Zheng Lion stood there in a daze. How is this possible? What I just executed? Was it really the evil repelling sword technique I know? Who on earth is this guy? Why do you have such insight? At this moment, Ziyan also slowly walked up. Congratulations, you just surpassed level 7 with your red evil sword technique. Reached level 8. Upon hearing this, Zheng Lion was slightly taken aback. I reached level 8. Why didn't I even feel it myself? Practicing like this. Are you really not joking with me? At the same time, outside Wuhan City, Wu Ying stood alone in the rain, as if waiting for something. As time continued to pass, 3 figures slowly emerged from the distance. These 3 were Yang Huang, who had come from afar. Upon seeing the few people arrive, Wu Ying quickly cupped his hands in respect. You finally came. The young master is currently attending the Dragon and Phoenix banquet. I'll take you all to the main venue first. Yang Huang looked at Wu Ying in front of him and slowly spoke. Long time no see. Looking at you with this unshaven look. You look really old, which suddenly pricked Wu Ying's heart. In the next moment, Leng Yi approached, continuing to walk to his side. Upon closer inspection, it looked like he aged 5 years. As soon as the two spoke, it left Wu Ying stunned in place. Do I really look that old? But the 3 ignored him, slowly walking towards Wuhan City. But why is Kai Yan participating in the Dragon and Phoenix banquet? Could it be that he wants to do something unimaginable again? Let's hurry over and take a look. At this moment, inside the Dragon and Phoenix banquet, a voice echoed throughout the entire hall. I am preparing to challenge. At this time, Kai Yan and Zheng Lion were standing in the center of the checkpoint. I am the flowing cloud and water. Kai Yan. I am Zheng Lion of the Zheng sword sect. Applying for a challenge. The surrounding participants saw that they were 2 unknowns, and thus did not continue to pay attention, because in their eyes, this guy who burst out with flowing clouds and water probably has no sect at all. At this time, Kai Yan did not pay attention to these. Looking at the side, he said, you have now practiced the red evil sword technique to the 9th level. This is really nothing, right? Zheng Lion also nodded at this time, indicating there was no problem. After practicing it once just now, the 2 practiced it again. After Kai Yan's correction, Zheng Lion also reached the 9th level. This made him feel as if today was like a dream. He never thought his martial arts could improve so quickly. Kai Yan looked at the dazed Zheng Lion, smiled gently. Do you know what our battle plan is called this time? Then he suddenly jumped, lightly flying towards the stone slab. I named it Dragon and Phoenix Dual Radiance. The team of young heroes dominating Wuhan has gathered for the first time. But to suppress these major forces in the martial world, one person is still missing. He is the strongest support. With 8 different top-tier techniques, the 8 directions, ugly monster. He is famous in the martial world. But his most renowned skill is his medical expertise. It is said that as long as he is given the necessary medicines, he can bring the dead back to life. At this moment, on the Dragon and Phoenix banquet arena, Kai Yan and Zheng Lion quickly advanced on the stone slab. Sworn looked at Zheng Lion's rapid progress and felt pleased. Your progress is still quite fast. Zheng Lion also smiled with great joy. I can't believe my body can make these movements. It's truly amazing. This is a talent I was born with. Sworn glanced at him, continuing to explain the understanding of things in the mind, the control of things with the body. This is the process of understanding the essence of martial arts. However, just between the two's conversation, quickly past the assessment, Zheng Lion looked so easily through it, with a shocked expression. I don't even remember how I got here. The announcement from the examiner has also been made. Kai Yan has just passed the assessment. After coming out of the venue, Kai Yan saw Yang Huang and the others who had been waiting for him for a long time. Upon seeing them, Kai Yan immediately filled his face with smiles and rushed towards them. But the next moment, what greeted him was Yang Huang's scythe, which blocked Kai Yan's embrace before speaking. "Why are you so disgusting now? If I didn't know better, I'd think you were my own grandson. I heard from Wang that you are establishing a manor for your own power. Now that things have gotten so big, what do you plan to do?" Kai Yan was full of confidence. "What else can I do? I plan to take over this martial world. Do you think unifying the martial world is that easy? Setting aside the 4 great overlords. What do you plan to do about the 9 factions and 1 sect? What about the 4 great families? And most importantly, the demon sect? How do you plan to deal with them?" But Oath doesn't care about these. Aren't these things yet to happen? Right now, our main priority is to take Hubei first. Then, he turned to Wang and said, "You entertain the elders first. I need to go catch another person." At this time, Oath actually brought Zheng Lion along. As soon as the two reached the top of the mountain, a monk walked out from inside. "Who are you?" Entering the divine mirror for no reason. Zheng Lion was so frightened by his words that he quickly apologized. And when the monk saw the two, he immediately showed a face of terror. Then he turned and walked back into the room. "Young men, then you can play as you like." But Kai Yan directly said, "Don't leave yet. Ugly monster, you can't escape my eyes." The ugly monster is also helpless. Heaven is truly heartless. "You evil, ghost-like guy. How could you know I was here?" Then, he directly started to tear off the mask on his face. Zheng Lion looked puzzled. He is the one Oath is looking at, laughing and calling him a thief. A fraudulent doctor. He has 8 different talents. Zheng Lion was shocked. He has special talents in 8 fields. Could he be the elder of the 8 directions? Ugly monsters? The 8 directions ugly monster still had an unfriendly expression. Do young people still know about these elders in the martial world? But Oath directly placed his hand on the ugly monster's head. "And he is also my disciple. This guy once made a bet with me. He lost the bet, and the wager was that the loser would become the disciple." The ugly monster was still unconvinced. "Someone definitely helped you from behind back then. You deceitful fraud, who uses despicable means to trick me." Oath did not intend to pay him any mind. "Today I have a request. Although you are a mediocre doctor, you are a fairly capable, mediocre doctor. I need you to help me treat a patient." The ugly monster directly refused. "Do you think I would casually save someone? Those wealthy tycoons, how many have died because I didn't treat them? I don't know how many." But the next sentence made him change his mind. "As long as you cure him, I will cancel our bet." The ugly monster immediately stood up. "Hurry up, let's go save someone now." Kai Yan directly took the ugly monster to Zheng Jianmen. And the person he asked the ugly monster to save was Zheng Lion's sister, Zheng Zhu. Zheng Zhu has been bedridden since she was 3 years old. Although Zheng Lion has never expressed it, he is still extremely worried about his sister. He didn't expect Kai Yan to notice this matter. At this moment, he felt extremely complicated inside. Why is he being so nice to me? At this time, the ugly monster, under the expectations of everyone in the Zheng family, began to take her pulse. After a while, the ugly monster turned around and said, "This child was stung by a poisonous bee. It's a rare creature called Zufeng." The people around were immediately shocked. The problem of the poisonous bee has troubled us for so long. It turns out to be just a poisonous bee. The ugly monster continued, "I will write you a prescription. Give him medicine for half a month. Then properly nourish his body. Exercise to enhance his strength. After a year, he will be able to recover." Upon hearing this, the master of Zheng Jianmen immediately knelt down. "Thank you, you truly deserve to be called Master Bafeng." Zheng Lion's mother, who was beside him, also tearfully said, Hero Kai. Thank you for helping us. You actually invited a famous doctor like Master Bafeng. I will not forget this answer. Zheng Lion also, with tears in his eyes, said, thank you. After the matter was settled, Kai Yan came outside. Master Bafeng, I have been rude during this time. You can go back now. The ugly monster looked a bit confused. You handle things so decisively. It's been fun playing with you. But you didn't come to find me for this matter, right? Kai Yan immediately straightened up. That's right, I want to dominate the world. I need your help, senior. But that child's life is also very important. The ugly monster suddenly laughed. 3 years ago, when you were still a reckless little brat, you said your dream was to establish an outstanding martial world. At that time, I thought it was just a child's foolish dream. But now, you seem to have matured a lot. Has your dream not changed? Zheng Lion directly nodded. That's right, it's still the same. Suddenly, a loud laugh came. Well, then, let me see. What does the outstanding martial world you speak of look like? Zheng Lion's expression became rarely serious. This might cost you your life. Don't you regret saying this? The ugly monster heavily nodded. Just right, these days have been very boring. I need a bit of fun. The next morning, the third round of the Dragon and Phoenix Feast officially begins. This time, the assessment they will undergo needs to be held on a small island in East Lake. In the distance, a large ship is continuously moving towards the small island where the Dragon and Phoenix Feast is held. A man lies on a soft big bed, looking at the small island ahead. I wonder what it feels like to be a woman from a prestigious family. The long-awaited Dragon and Phoenix Feast has now become a slaughterhouse. Countless assassins from the demon sect have gathered, led by top experts. The guards arranged by the 4 overlords of the world have all been killed one by one, leaving only the younger generation participating in the Dragon and Phoenix Feast, becoming lambs to the slaughter. At this moment, the Dragon and Phoenix Feast has just begun. The examiner directly takes out a flag, introducing that this is the Dragon and Phoenix chess. The person who obtains this Dragon and Phoenix chess will pass the third. But they cannot seize it by force. Among the 2 doors, you see. Enter through the left door. After circling the small island, you will come out through the right door. In other words, this island itself is the third checkpoint. The first 4 pairs of Dragon and Phoenix to return win. This also means only 8 people can obtain this chess piece. However, relying solely on lightness of foot will definitely not get you the Dragon and Phoenix flag. This island is full of traps. Once these words were spoken, the participants around also showed difficulty. Will the traps pose a life-threatening danger? At this time, the examiner also appropriately took out the weapons used for the traps. Don't worry too much. See this wooden sword? The traps do not use real swords. But this kind of wooden sword, if you get trapped in the mechanism and cannot escape, you can call out to the examiners around you. The examiners will always be following you. Finally, I wish you good luck. After hearing the rules, Kai Yan and Zheng Lion immediately set off towards their goal. Looking around at the empty surroundings, Zheng Lion was a bit confused. Why is there no one on this road? Did we take a wrong turn? The oath began its lesson on the spot. Only by walking the road less traveled can one find the meaning of the journey. But didn't the examiners say they would always follow us? Why have we been walking for so long? I can't hear any sounds. As soon as these words were spoken, Zheng Lion felt a bit scared. Did you not notice anyone around us at all? Then he turned and walked forward. Could it be that we are too far off the beaten path? They didn't follow us. Let's hurry and find others. In the next moment, Zheng Lion felt a killing intent. In an instant, he drew the long sword in his hand. He swung the sword backward to block the incoming attack. but an arrow flew toward the back of his head again. Kaiyan quickly stepped forward to block it. Zheng Lion saw Kaiyan block it and let out a long breath. Thank goodness you caught it. Otherwise, we would have been eliminated. At this speed, even a wooden sword is still very dangerous. But the oath stared blankly at the arrow in his hand. The throne-hidden weapons are real. Someone has changed the mechanism. Suddenly, a scream came from afar. The oath immediately reacted, using lightness skill. Quick, let's go check it out ahead. Seeing this, Zheng Lion hurriedly followed the oath's pace. At the same time, a stranded ship by the island caught the attention of the guards on the island. It seems we haven't received any news of a ship docking. Could it be some idiot accidentally stumbled into the Dragon and Phoenix banquet venue? Suddenly, a shadow fell from the ship. When the two focused their gaze, it turned out to be a human head. At this moment, a voice also came from above the ship. There are actually other examiners. I had already ordered my subordinates to kill all the examiners. Why do one or two keep popping up? The two of them heard this and quickly drew their long swords. You hurry and notify Examiner Yan Chong. One person immediately ran towards the island. I'll be back soon. Be careful. Before he could finish speaking, a chain appeared in front of him, decapitating him. This shocked the examiner, who was about to block him. You actually dare to kill someone from the Baishuan family. But the next moment, he was met with the same fate as the previous person. The one who appeared was the first color demon of the evil path, Yin Chong. Now, he can enjoy the women on the island. Indeed, the situation on the island is not optimistic. Countless candidates gathered in the woods. Many among the candidates have already been killed by hidden weapons. The scenes unfolding left the heirs of the four tyrants of the martial world at a loss. Countless candidates began to retreat. Why has this grand event turned out like this? Who cares about the Dragon and Phoenix banquet? I want to leave here right now. Then, he began to shout for the examiners in the woods. But at this time, no matter how he called, the surroundings were eerily quiet. Meng Lion was also puzzled by the situation. Why is no one coming? There were so many examiners when we got on the island. It seems something went wrong. Let's go back to the starting point and take a look. The oath directly rejected this proposal. That won't do. Now, this island has turned into a huge trap. If someone deliberately set this up, they should have anticipated that we would go back. They might have installed even more terrifying mechanisms, and leaving the designated path will lead to falling into the formation. What they want is for us to continue down this path. Originally a grand dragon and phoenix banquet in the martial world, has now turned into a slaughterhouse for geniuses. Countless geniuses are trapped in the mire, waiting for the blade above to slay them one by one. In endless panic, everyone fell into despair. The young men slowly spoke up. Someone has set up a formation here. Although there are ways to destroy these mechanisms and formations, we have gathered too many people. If it were just me alone, escaping would be somewhat possible. Zheng Lion quickly spoke up. Then you escape alone. Can you notify the people outside? The oath directly rejected that for now. We don't know if there are still people outside. And I can't just leave you here alone. The conversation between the two made the number one beauty of Chongqing somewhat disdainful. Is this man too pretentious? But compared to the one next to me, as the heir of the four tyrants of the martial world, he is much better. After the group buried the deceased contestants one by one, they could only continue along the route. Although they all followed their own paths, they unexpectedly gathered together again at some point. Zheng Lion looked ahead, worried. All the paths turned into one road, indicating that they were getting closer to the exit, right? And after that time, there were no other traps, which made me even more uneasy. At this moment, the oath noticed something unusual. The ground here is somewhat strange. There are even metallic sounds inside. Suddenly, the originally solid ground collapsed with a loud crash. After the original ground collapsed, it turned into a large swamp. So the contestants, caught off guard, all sank deeply into it. The oath looked at the people trapped in the swamp, somewhat puzzled. No, this swamp is not a simple trap. All those who fell into the swamp, at this moment, could not move at all. This is a hellish swamp mixed with insulating sand. It is sand that can cut off the connection between martial artists and their internal energy. And the more they struggle, the faster their bodies sink. Even I cannot gather my internal energy. And this swamp is not their only killing move. At this moment, a huge wooden stake with blades suddenly rose from the ground. Countless contestants were directly shrouded in the shadow of the blades. In the next moment, the blades fell from the sky in an instant. The contestants below, unable to dodge in time, were instantly turned into minced meat. At this moment, everyone present realized the situation was dire. This is actually a real blade. And the blades did not stop. They slowly rose again. After changing direction, aiming at another group of people, endless fear plunged them into despair. Seeing this scene, Jiang Renji looked relieved. Fortunately, I was still a bit far from him. But unexpectedly, the next moment, the person nearby turned around and grabbed Jiang Renji's clothes, shouting, "Hero! Help me pull over. I can't just die like this." Jiang Renji was startled by this sudden scene and quickly retreated backward. But unexpectedly, he couldn't move at all due to the swamp's restraints. He could only shout, "You madman! Let go of me! Do you want us to die together? The faster you move, the more you will sink." At this moment, the blades fell from the sky again. In the next moment, a large area of mud was lifted by the falling blades. Jiang Renji was now covered in blood. In a moment of crisis, he drew his sword and directly severed the person's arm. He saved himself. I actually killed someone. And in front of so many people. Will there be any problems? Suddenly, Unxia's voice came from the side. You did the right thing. Protecting yourself is the most important. Zhang Lion, seeing this scene, felt a bit disappointed in himself. This is too much. But I might choose the same way. So, I am the same kind of person as them. The sound of the vow also came from the side. It's already pretty good that you can feel guilt. In this world, there isn't even guilt. Those who have such thoughts are kind fools. At this moment, the direction of the blades turned again. Zhang Lion quickly looked to the side. Is there any way to escape the quagmire? But at this moment, Kai Yan's figure had already disappeared. This left Zhang Lion a bit dazed. Did he go out to call for help first? Otherwise, he wouldn't just suddenly disappear, right? But at this moment, under the rotation of the blades, they stood directly above Zhang Lion's head. Caught off guard, they slashed straight down towards Zhang Lion. Suddenly, just as the blade was about to approach him, a force pulled him into the ground. He actually passed through the quagmire and entered below the ground. What is this? Something under my feet is pulling me. Where exactly is it trying to pull me? After a while, he suddenly passed through the quagmire and appeared in a lake. Zhang Lion immediately realized, there is water down here, and I can feel my internal energy recovering. When he looked, he discovered the one pulling him was actually the Kai Yan who had just disappeared. He is the young man who aims to dominate Hubei and has set his sights on you. But when faced with danger, the young man actually pushed him out of the safe zone first. As the young man exerted force, Zhang Lion's body was continuously rising towards the water's surface. In the next moment, he broke through the swamp and flew into the sky. As he kept climbing, Zhang Lion quickly reached the mechanism above. Suddenly, a voice came from the void, saying, "Now, cut off the mechanism." Zhang Lion immediately reacted. This voice was Kai Yan's transmission. But as the young man pushed him out, his strength was exhausted. Zhang Lion fell straight down towards the ground. Seeing this, Zhang Lion quickly drew his long sword and plunged it into the wooden stake. Stabilize your body. After stopping, Zhang Lion smelled a very strong scent of blood. It's too much for me to cut down such a large stake with my sword. Energy. It's too forced. And I have never used sword energy before. At this moment, he heard screams from below. Countless participants have already died because of this mechanism. Even those who survived paid the price of losing limbs. Wails. The sounds of begging for mercy continuously entered Zhang Lion's ears. At this moment, Zhang Lion made up his mind that he must cut this down. Then he climbed to the top of the mechanism. A master once told me the difference between a master and a mediocre. Stabilize your mind. Believe that I can definitely cut it down. Cut it down before it changes direction, to prevent other victims from appearing. Then he began to gather internal energy within his body, focusing his attention on the sword. Since the first time I held a sword, I have practiced martial arts diligently, every day, without fail, just to step up in a critical moment. This is the sword technique I have poured my lifelong learning into. Then he swung the long sword in his hand. Suddenly felt a strange sensation. I felt very hot with the hand of the wind. God! The internal energy actually gathered on the long sword in my hand. Then he swung the sword fiercely forward. A sword energy slashed out from the sword body, straight towards the stake. After the sword energy passed, the huge blade, along with the stake, was cut down. This scene excited the people still alive below, who shouted, "Look! The device above has finally been cut down. We survive." Seeing the crowd below showing smiles of survival, Zhang Lion also breathed a slight sigh of relief. After the mechanism was resolved, everyone stepped back onto the path to the finish line. And Zhang Lion, who saved everyone, also received recognition from all the dragons and phoenixes present. Thank you, Miss Zhang. If it weren't for you destroying the mechanism and pulling everyone out with branches, we would all have died there. Hearing this, Zhang Lion glanced over. The red flame beside put a finger to his lips, then awkwardly responded to that person. It's all minor matters, as long as everyone is safe. After that person left, Zhang Lion then spoke about why I couldn't tell them. If it weren't for you, we would all be dead. The red flame revealed a mysterious smile. Now is not the time to attract attention. This left Zhang Lion somewhat puzzled. What exactly is he planning? Then he spoke again. Why did this happen? Is the demonic path targeting the dragons and phoenixes? Or is it a coincidence? The red flame looked serious. There are absolutely no coincidences in the martial world. Although I don't know the reason. This is not something one person can do. I think this is a plan by a group. This matter is very similar to what they did to Bai Xuan. So it definitely isn't ordinary. Meanwhile, at the flying banquet, the mysterious woman spoke downwards. How is that matter going? The plan is still in progress, right? The old man below, however, looked serious, expressing his lack of optimism about this matter. The woman also sensed something unusual. Do you still think hiring the lust demon bug was a mistake? The old man then spoke. To be honest, that doesn't matter at all. What I'm worried about is your intention to hire him for this matter. What exactly do you want to do? The woman suddenly smiled, opened her fan. I really don't know what you mean. At this moment, the dragons and phoenixes on the small island kept moving forward, finally seeing the exit set by the Bai Xuan family. Suddenly, everyone began to run quickly towards the finish line. Can we leave this hellish place? Survive. Zhang Lion, however, felt puzzled. Is it really that simple to end? At this moment, the two who had just rushed past the finish line were frozen in place, not daring to move. I saw the chief examiner designated by the Baishuan family, Hero Yan, actually hang by an iron chain in a tree. And below, a figure in red stood in the middle. The examiners guarding here had all turned into cold, lifeless corpses. Suddenly, everyone began to retreat rapidly. How is this possible? They actually killed a master like Hero Yan. But at this moment, Kai Yan bypassed the retreating crowd and walked straight ahead. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. The real show has just begun. He is the infamous lust demon bug in the martial world. All women who encounter him will have their essence drained and die. However, at this moment, he immediately set his sights on the man's designated wife. He directly introduced her in front of everyone. There should be some people who don't recognize her. In the martial world, everyone calls me the lust demon bug. As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding dragons and phoenixes were all shocked. He is actually the lust demon bug, rumored to have forcibly taken down countless women. The guy who uses yin to supplement yang. Every woman he has taken down has died from losing their essence. Kai Yan looked at Jeok Leegeon with a smile. It sounds so terrifying. Fortunately, I am not a woman. However, at this moment, in the crowd on the other side, an old lady was looking at Kai Yan with a lewd smile. This young man, with his delicate skin, looks so delicious. The perceptive Kai Yan immediately sensed this malice, and his body suddenly shivered. The lust demon bug did not care about the crowd's odd reactions. The person who hired us said, "To let you experience what hell is like. But with so many women, I can't absorb all the yin energy in one day. It's really a pity." Jeok Leegeon quietly asked Kai Yan, "Is the group you guessed in front the one that hired him?" The Oathkeeper also looked puzzled. They don't plan to kill us, but want to do something so lewd. It seems like a kind of intense hatred for certain people here. Zhang Renji was also a bit restless at this time and approached Lin Xia. "Lin Xia, let's team up to kill this lust demon." But Lin Xia rejected his proposal. "Can you and I team up to kill the examiner, Yan Chong?" "Don't even mention Yan Chong. We might not be able to kill any examiner. We randomly pick. Even if we team up, we can't take them down. This guy in front of us may be a lust demon, but he is a master among masters. A direct attack is not wise, but rather a foolish act." Suddenly, a loud shout rang out, and he immediately drew his long sword. "This dirty guy. Do you know who you are doing this to?" And this person is Yang Wei, the heir of the Southern Yi Alliance. At this moment, his long sword was thrust straight forward, but the silver demon bug showed no fear. With a cold laugh, in the next moment, his arm transformed into a blood-red light, entangling Yang Wei's arm. Then with a gentle pull, he directly broke Yang Wei's arm. The long sword also fell, causing Yang Wei to scream in agony. "Do you know who I am? Dare to touch me?" The demon bug's hand strikes again, tightening around Yang Wei's neck, lifting him directly into the air. He had been shouting loudly just now. I thought he was some tough character. Turns out he can only talk big. Seeing the scene before him, Yang Wei was instantly filled with fear. Suddenly, at this moment, he remembered what his grandfather once said. Fighting relies on momentum. Yang Wei raised his head, looking fiercely at the person in front. "You bastard! I will kill you sooner or later." But in the next moment, the lust demon bug slapped him hard, causing him to spit blood. The scene left everyone below dumbfounded. However, this was not the end. Countless slaps continued to attack Yang Wei's face back and forth. In just a few breaths, he was directly slapped unconscious. Jeok Leegeon looked ahead. "Do we need to take action? If we all stand here, we will only be killed one by one." But the man held back Jeok Leegeon, who wanted to attack. "Wait, he won't kill. That impulsive guy still has some courage. After getting through this time, It will be a great help to his life. At this moment, the silver demon bug has also stopped attacking. Looking at Yang Wei, who resembled a dead dog, he started to laugh. I should have done this a long time ago. Only by showing you some color will you behave. Then he directly threw Yang Wei aside. If you had just listened obediently from the start, how good would that be? At this moment, he suddenly saw a woman going to help Yang Wei, and was instantly shocked. Miss, you are really beautiful. What is your name? The woman coldly glanced at the silver bug in front. The silver demon bug immediately showed a satisfied expression. Chongqing's #1 beauty, Sprite Flower. Sure enough, it's just as rumored. I heard that Green Water Villa is a prestigious family. Your internal energy should be very pure. But just looking for you alone might not be enough. Then he quickly scanned the crowd and set his sights on Zheng Lion, who was standing next to Kai Yan. It's this woman, simply perfect. Quickly take those two to the back. Then keep a close watch on the rest. The subordinates were suddenly a bit confused. Watch them? We should take them off this small island before the people outside notice. That's the right thing to do. At this moment, the silver demon bug no longer cared and grabbed him forcefully. I came here to wait for this moment. If you dare to talk back, I'll kill you all. At this moment, a voice interrupted the silver demon bug's anger. Wait, you can't take him away. This woman and I are a pair of dragon and phoenix, so we have a bond of life and death. This statement left the silver demon bug a bit stunned. So what do you want? Shi Yan grinned. What I mean is, if you want to take him, you have to take me, along with the demon bug. Even the demon bug couldn't help but laugh at this statement. Simply a madman. Then let's go together. Into the cave. The silver demon bug smiled brilliantly. I've never seen such a beautiful woman in my life. And today, I encountered not just one. What a stroke of luck. You two look like a pretty good couple. I've encountered this kind of situation before. When I was about to make a move, the man was watching from the side, crying and making a fuss. It has its own charm. So I'm really looking forward to this task. Suddenly, a figure flashed through the cave. The bonfire instantly went out, and the other two also fainted on the spot. The silver demon bug was shocked. What's going on? When did they get hit with pressure points? It definitely wasn't this woman in front of me. I was watching him the whole time. So could it be him? At this moment, Kai Yan was staring intently at the silver demon bug and smiled. The silver demon bug immediately confirmed and swung the weapon in his hand towards Kai Yan. Kai Yan just lightly leaped, easily dodging the attack, then landed and lightly tapped the chain with his toes, and instantly rushed towards the silver demon bug. Then with the palm, he struck fiercely down towards the silver demon bug. The demon bug that has seduced countless young girls in the martial world. Never expected. He was only interested in an ordinary girl. Actually attracted. A calamity that even the gods can't save from. The demon bug barely took the boy's palm strike and was extremely shocked. You possess martial art skills not suitable for your age. Why do you still want to participate in the Dragon and Phoenix banquet? The boy grinned, but the power in his palm did not weaken at all. It seems you still have some insight. In the next moment, the silver demon bug's internal energy erupted, wielding its weapon and smashing it everywhere. Seeing stones continuously falling from above, Zheng Yan hurriedly pulled up the two who had fainted. If this continues, this mountain will collapse. We need to get out quickly. I wonder how Kai Yan is doing. At the same time, the silver demon bug had the same doubt, looking at the pitch-black surroundings. Where the hell did that bastard run off to? Suddenly, Kai Yan flashed, instantly appearing behind the silver demon bug. But the silver demon bug is still a top expert in the martial world. With the enhancement of awareness, it still dodged this attack, then swung the chain in its hand. The chain immediately wrapped around Kai Yan's arm, then with a leap, quickly created distance from Kai Yan. And the chain had already entangled Kai Yan's arm. You dare to leave a wound on my face. This will scare those girls. At this moment, Kai Yan also showed no weakness, flipping over to grab the chain, then came to the wall behind. Immediately, using the force from the wall above, kicked out a foot, heavily kicking the silver demon bug in the face. Caught off guard, the silver demon bug was directly kicked by Kai Yan and spat out blood. After reacting, the silver demon bug jumped again, charging straight at Kai Yan. Seeing this, Kai Yan waved his palm, directly opened the silver demon bug's outstretched palm. The two stood together, continuously exchanging blows, causing many shattered stones to appear in the cave. Zheng Lion watched the two fiercely battling in the distance, incredibly shocked. How strong are they really? Although I knew before that Kai Yan had strong skills, I didn't expect he could fight the long-established silver demon bug for so long. At this moment, the silver demon bug was also feeling miserable inside. Damn it, that person didn't mention that there were such experts on this island. And he is only in his teens. How could he have such power? At this moment, Kai Yan gathered his internal energy in both palms and slapped forward. The silver demon bug immediately understood. Do you want to compete in internal energy? Seeing this, the silver demon bug also became competitive. Since that's the case, let me see how profound your internal skills are at such a young age. When the palms of the two collided, a powerful airflow suddenly appeared around them, spreading towards the cave's surroundings. At this moment, the silver demon bug revealed a smile. What a young fool. No matter how strong he is, he's only in his teens or 20s. Does he really think he can defeat me? The one who has absorbed the yin energy of countless young girls. But as the internal energy of the two continued to converge, the silver demon bug immediately noticed something unusual. How has this guy lasted so long? His internal energy hasn't weakened at all. At this moment, as their internal energies kept colliding, the cave began to shake violently. Cracks slowly appeared in the stones at the top of the cave. Seeing this scene, Zheng Lion thought it was bad. This cave is really going to collapse with a loud bang. The entire cave would immediately shatter. Moonlight also fell upon the two. The stones above continued to fall. Zheng Lion, watching from the side, immediately pulled the two unconscious people towards the edge of the cave. The two standing in the center of the cave remained motionless despite the falling stones. At this moment, Kai Yan finally spoke up. You harmed so many people, just for this little bit of power. In the next moment, Kai Yan gathered his internal energy in his palm, and it exploded outwards, directly smashing the silver demon bug away. Under the powerful internal energy attack, the silver demon bug was smashed into the wall. He spat out blood. This scene left the silver demon bug extremely shocked. Why is he so strong? His internal energy is so much higher than mine. Then, he looked towards the front where the two unconscious people were being protected. Now it seems I have no choice. I can only take one hostage first. Then the chain in my hand appeared and shot straight towards Zheng Lion's direction. Caught off guard, Zheng Lion had no way to avoid it. Could only watch helplessly as the chain gradually approached. Suddenly, a sword's whistle sounded. Wails echoed around, and the chain in the silver demon bug's hand immediately broke. In the next moment, Kai Yan appeared in front of the silver demon bug with the hellblade. Then Kai Yan gave Zheng Lion a reassuring look and said, "Close your eyes." Suddenly, a glow surrounded by blood-red blade energy smashed down fiercely towards the ground. The silver demon bug quickly retreated backwards. What the hell is that thing? Just the moment it was unsheathed, I felt death closing in. Kai Yan had no intention of giving the silver demon bug time to think. With another slash, he severed its arm. Seeing the silver demon bug still fleeing into the forest, Kai Yan swung the hellblade and gradually closed in on it. What are you running for? Can you escape? Then with another slash, he instantly tore open the silver demon bug's chest, losing both hands, plus suffering severe damage to its abdomen. The silver demon bug was already at its last gasp. But in the next moment, the hell blade swung again. The silver demon bug lost another arm and a leg. The silver demon bug, in pain from the severed limbs, continued to wail for mercy. But Kai Yan's face was like frost. With a horizontal slash, he aimed for the silver demon bug's head, burying the final blow. The silver demon bug's lower body sprayed blood like a fountain, fell to the ground, unable to rise. The young man simply pulled out the hell blade from his back. The entire cave seemed to have entered hell. Blood-red blade light kept flashing. And the young man has also become a machine that only knows how to kill. Even the renowned top expert in the martial world, the silver demon bug, died under the blade. Seeing the blood all over the ground, the subordinates who rushed over were shocked. What on earth happened here? However, when they carefully investigated, they found that the silver demon bug, notorious in the martial world for over a decade, was now in pieces. Kid, did you do this? Or do you have other helpers? At this moment, the few people who arrived immediately held weapons in their hands, starting to be on guard around them. But unexpectedly, the next moment, the young man in front swung his sword down, directly cutting one of them in half. Blood sprayed out like a fountain around the cave. And then, without giving the others any chance, the long sword in his hand kept swinging. With each flash of sword light, each sword light reaped a life. When the young man's final strike fell, the slaughter in the entire cave came to an end. Seeing this scene, the person in front was completely stunned, watching the young man wielding the butcher's knife. At this moment, the young man who stopped his actions was covered in blood, and the corpses at his feet were piled like a mountain. Is he really still the Kai Yan I know? After a struggle, Zheng Lion slowly spoke up. That Kai Yan. But when Kai Yan turned to look at him, it startled him greatly. At this moment, Kai Yan's eyes glowed red, and his body was surrounded by a murderous aura. Suddenly, Kai Yan hurriedly reined in the murderous aura, showing a smile. I told you to close your eyes. If I draw the hell blade, I won't be able to control my desire to kill. Right now, I haven't completely conquered the hell blade, so pulling it out will change my personality. However, the reason I have always used it is because it was my mother's weapon. Upon hearing this, Zheng Lion was stunned. Is there really such a terrifying weapon in the martial world? Kai Yan continued to say, I have another sword behind me. It's called the Junzi sword. It is my father's weapon. But I want to use my mother's weapon to dominate the world, so I won't draw that sword. As soon as these words were spoken, Zheng Lion was taken aback. Why carry a sword that never leaves its sheath? And it's still my father's weapon. At this moment, Kai Yan asked, You weren't scared by what just happened, were you? Zheng Lion thought for a moment and replied, No. No matter what you look like, it's still your fault. After leaving the cave, countless dragons and phoenixes came forward to thank us. Thank you, young hero. If it weren't for you, we would have all died here. This kindness, we will never forget until death. However, the one receiving thanks was the heir of Nanyu, Yang Ming, who had just been beaten. This left Yang Ming feeling incredulous. What on earth is going on? When I opened my eyes in the cave, I found that the silver demon, Worm, and his men were all dead. I was still holding a long sword covered in blood, and Kai Yan was still assisting from the side. I had fallen asleep as soon as I entered. But when I woke up and looked around, not to mention the demon worm, even his subordinates were all dead. However, after some thought, he still believed that this was possible. Could it be that my grandfather left some kind of terrifying martial arts within me? Thank you so much. Grandfather thinks so much of me. At this moment, the most beautiful woman in Chongqing did not mix in with them, but stared blankly at the two people beside her. She knew Yang Ming very well. The other party didn't have the martial ability to kill the silver demon worm. After walking up to the side, she spoke up. I didn't expect young hero Yan to really admit it. It was done by him. Kai Yan, however, was very confident. Of course, no one would miss an opportunity to gain both fame and fortune. This left the person in front a bit puzzled. Is gaining both fame and fortune really that important? Meanwhile, the ships sent by various forces from the outside world have already arrived at the small island. Sworn looked at the ships on the water. After this incident, the martial world will once again be swept by a storm of blood and gore. However, the Dragon and Phoenix banquet ultimately came to an end. At this moment, the Southern Yue Alliance reported back. I didn't expect the young master to actually kill the lust demon worm, saving those Dragon and Phoenix young masters. Truly remarkable. He accomplished something that could make him famous in the martial world. However, the head of Han Yuishan denied it. It wasn't him. That kid's current martial skills can't deal with the silver demon worm. I heard that. The kid we met at the tavern back then also attended the Dragon and Phoenix banquet. Did he kill the silver demon worm? Although this thought seems a bit unrealistic, I don't know why. I have a feeling that no matter what, he is somewhat related to this matter. You should investigate secretly. Don't disturb the others. Act like you don't know for now. However, the mastermind behind this plan is indeed bold and reckless. How dare they target the Dragon and Phoenix banquet? It seems this heavenly dragon war will be very interesting. The great battle is about to break out. Although I still don't know who is leading this incident, I'm looking forward to the development of the situation. At this time, Kai Yan, who returned to Wuhan, directly brought Zheng Lion to the base. He established. Zheng Lion was a bit puzzled about the new Feng Manor. I've been in Wuhan for so long, and I've never heard of this place. Kai Yan slowly spoke up. This is the base I established in Wuhan. Zheng Lion was a bit surprised. How long have you been in Wuhan? You actually built a manor. After going through that incident, I thought that nothing this guy does would scare me anymore. But he always does some unimaginable things. At this moment, the oath was introducing while opening the door. In order to bring a new atmosphere to the martial world, I named it New Win. This is the starting point of my dominance in Hubei. Among them is the sect I established, the Kangshan sect. Young man simply pushed open a wooden door of a manor, which surprisingly opened the foundation to dominate the entire martial world. Once, after he came to Hubei, the secretly established Kangshan sect suddenly appeared. This scene left Zheng Lion extremely shocked. A seemingly ordinary manor actually hides such a secret. The young man proudly began to introduce. Xinfeng Manor is the entrance and exit of my Kangshan sect. At present, I do not intend to let Kangshan sect appear in the public eye, so I chose to disguise in this way. Even the workers who came here were blindfolded when they arrived. I plan to build a room and training ground here that can accommodate over 1,000 people, which left Zheng Lion in shock. This is too exaggerated. How many places of this scale are there in the martial world? What exactly is this guy trying to do? The young man continued to talk about these years. The martial world is dominated by the four great powers. The purpose of my outing this time is to eliminate all of them. Then I will take that position. Meanwhile, the Baishuan family's Wuhan branch, countless elders gathered here. to seek accountability for the Dragon and Phoenix banquet incident. Among them, the Blood King sect master took the lead. We entrusted our child to you. Completely trusting you, Bai Shuan family. Now, all we get is just an apology. If you lost your child, would you still say such things? The sect masters in the back began to whisper. Isn't this guy a bit too exaggerated? The other party is the Ma family of Bai Shuan. But no matter what, he lost his eldest disciple, and his youngest daughter has become disabled. The head of the Bai Shuan family immediately comforted. I stand in my father's position, and I completely understand the feelings of all the family heads. No matter how this matter turns out, we will definitely investigate it thoroughly and give everyone an explanation. For this meeting, the Bai Shuan family has already devised a countermeasure. These old folks who have lost their children absolutely will not let go the opportunity to attack our Bai Shuan family. And it happened in the third checkpoint. We prepared such a massacre event. Yunshin Ba immediately responded that this matter is not simple. I believe there are definitely traitors in our family, but we still need to resolve the matter at hand first. I want to resolve this issue. Only those who have made contributions in this incident, including Nanyu Lion, will be packaged as heroes, and then create public opinion to make outsiders believe that those who were killed were weak. Because of their own weakness, we must make their family ashamed of their deaths. Lin Tianba immediately laughed. This is a good method for those who do not submit, can only be dealt with by force. At this moment in the conference hall, Lin Tianba looked serious as he gazed at everyone. I am deeply saddened by the occurrence of this matter. But the world is like this. The weak are prey to the strong. In such a harsh environment, most of the dragons and phoenixes survived, and some even rescued their companions and took down the infamous bully, the lust demon bug. The Blood King sect master immediately stood up, angrily saying, if it were your grandson who died, would this matter be handled this way? Lin Tianba looked grimly ahead. What is your intention in constantly mentioning your grandson? Or do you want my grandson's life? Then I will chop off your head. The Blood King sect master was immediately choked by the statement and dared not speak up. Nanyu Lion also stood up at this time. Although this matter pains us greatly, it has already happened. Anger is not a solution to the problem. I believe all the sect masters are clear about this. As soon as the two spoke, the Blood King sect master felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. If I continue to entangle this matter at the Tianlong conference, I will definitely be beaten to a pulp. And what awaits our Blood King sect is only extermination. Thinking of this, the Blood King sect master's face turned hideous. He cried out in a mix of laughter and tears. Then, as if remembering where he was, he quickly silenced himself and began to sob quietly. Yet no one around felt pity for him. Now, his appearance is quite pitiful. But those who stand in this position today, have they not killed other innocent people? The ultimate truth of this world is only one. That is, the weak are prey to the strong. Everyone present is very clear about one thing. If the Blood King sect master does not obtain the forgiveness of the Bai Shuan family, then this time will be these people's. This is the last time I see him at such a conference. Meanwhile, in the mountains and forests, Qian is walking on the road with Jeok Leegeon. On this mountain, there is also a green forest organization called Fengshan Village that robs the people's property under the guise of collecting protection fees. The reason I brought you here this time is to deal with them. Upon hearing the words, deal with, Jeok Leegeon trembled all over and suddenly recalled Qian's massacre of those people back then. She hurriedly stepped forward. There should be kind people among that green forest, right? Are we going to deal with all of them? But Qian disagreed. They have already become bandits, so there is no distinction between good and evil. Good people don't kill or rob. Now, they have already made a mistake. At this moment, the bandits on the mountain also discovered the two people climbing up. They immediately drew their weapons. This girl is quite good looking. We can just enjoy ourselves. In the next moment, they used their lightness skill. The long knife swung straight towards Qian's neck. The vow did not look back at all. With a hand outstretched, he firmly grasped the long knife. Then he smashed it backward. The bandits rushing from behind were instantly scared and dared not approach. The vow appeared in front of that bandit in the next moment. It doesn't necessarily have to be killing. Just drive them off this mountain. This is my base. The two of them suddenly found themselves in the bandit stronghold. They started fighting with these bandits. The vow fought while guiding Jeok Leegeon. Do you feel their killing intent? If you hesitate, you're dead. Hearing this, Jeok Leegeon's attacks became heavier. They were almost beating these mountain bandits into submission. The two moved as if strolling in a garden. They resolved these bandits. Suddenly a beam of light shot towards Jeok Leegeon. It's not over yet. Seeing this, Jeok Leegeon quickly drew her sword to cut it. But she found it was just a bag. In an instant, countless powders spread out in front of Jeok Leegeon. At this moment, a figure also walked out from the house. You two have turned this place into this. Your martial arts are quite impressive. But in this world, not everything can be solved with martial arts. That just now was not ordinary poison. It was mixed with an aphrodisiac. Now, you will feel your body heating up immediately. You will be looking for men to satisfy your physical needs. If you don't mate with a man, you will bleed from all 7 orifices and die. Jeok Leegeon's face turned pale with fear. These people are outrageous. How can they use such a drug? Qian laughed. Don't worry. The man is here. The girl never expected that she had been poisoned by the bandits, and that she needed a man to detoxify. The boy was laughing brightly beside her. He even said, "The man is right here." This scene shocked the girl immensely. Frightened, she quickly drew her sword and charged forward. Quick, give me the antidote. After a while, the bandits had been beaten black and blue by Jeok Leegeon. He took out the antidote. Among these 3 bottles of medicine, only 1 bottle is the antidote. The other 2 bottles will make the poison act more violently. You will die with me here. Jeok Leegeon was greatly shocked. It's come to this point. Do you want to drag me down with you? Shi's face was cold. This is very simple. Sprinkle the poison on that guy. His martial arts are weaker than yours, so he will die first. If he wants to live, he can only reveal the antidote. Anyway, didn't he say he wanted to die together? Then this will work. Jeok Leegeon looked at the poison in front of her. Her heart sank. To survive, do I have to use poison on others? Seeing Jeok Leegeon's inner turmoil, she also sighed. Then he took the medicine. If my mother saw you, she would definitely like you, because you look very much like my father. Now, in the next moment, Qian kicked the bandit in front of him unconscious. According to my words, try to circulate your internal energy. After a while, Jeok Leegeon followed his guidance, completely forcing out the poison. You didn't spread the poison. You did very well. It's precisely because you can't do something like spreading poison that I like you. But what you need to do now is to become stronger. Only by becoming stronger can you protect your kind heart with strength. Because in this world now, kindness and integrity are seen as boring and weak. That's why I made up my mind to change. At the same time, a few people in the palm of the gang were discussing. I heard that at this dragon and phoenix banquet, the young girl from Zhangjianmen performed excellently. That girl is Ren Ji. Have you chosen the child to attend the dragon and phoenix banquet with you? This person is Jiang Shan, the leader of the Jiangxing gang. Suddenly Ren Ji's sister laughed. Yes, but the other party doesn't think highly of him at all. However, seeing his performance at the Dragon and Phoenix banquet, I also understand why the other party looks down on him. As soon as these words were spoken, it made Jiang Renji extremely angry. He immediately started cursing. Seeing this, Jiang Shen quickly interrupted and said not to talk about this. I heard that the Blood King sect master committed suicide and confessed after returning home. As soon as this news came out, it immediately interrupted the two who were arguing. Just because his daughter was discarded, he then committed suicide. The younger sister next to him directly laughed. You really are an idiot. Was it the Bai Xuanba family that did this? Jiang Shan nodded solemnly. It is indeed as you guessed. The Bai Xuanba family is such a cold-blooded person. So now, we have to choose our side carefully. The Heart Gang has developed to this point. Isn't it also because of their unwavering loyalty to the Bai Xuanba family? What the few people in the room never expected was, at this moment, two people were standing on their roof. These two were Qian and his bodyguard. These guys are really having a good time inside. Wang also started to laugh. If they knew what happened in their shops today, they wouldn't be able to laugh. But, young master, you should come out and take a look. They are actually dressed so formally. It's really rare. Xian immediately started to laugh. To deceive people, there still have to be rules. The role we need to play must be a bit more glamorous for the inner hallmaster of the Bai Xuanba family. Xian immediately put on the mask he brought. This made Wang couldn't help but exclaim. This mask is really well made. You can't see any flaws at all. Even so, the truly terrifying part of the young master is still after he puts on the mask. His voice, actions, and demeanor are exactly the same as the other party. Xian held the item in his hand. If this matter is successful today, in a short time, we at Kangshan Gate won't have to worry about funds. There will also be cracks between the Palm Heart Gang and the Ba family. However, it's also very simple for this matter to succeed. On a pitch-black night, facing a greedy old man, and then taking this thing out, his rationality will be completely paralyzed. If this thing is taken out, and my mother finds out, I'm afraid I will be scolded. Soon, Qian donned the mask, and arrived at the shop under the Palm Heart Gang's name. Upon seeing the other party, the manager was taken aback. The esteemed inner hallmaster of the Bai Xuan, how could you visit me? Qian mysteriously handed over the box in his hand. It's like this. You must keep this matter confidential. If it gets leaked, your life will be at stake. Upon hearing this, the manager was overjoyed. Such a dangerous matter. That means this is a big deal. He immediately agreed. At this moment, Qian opened the box in his hand. In an instant, a dazzling light burst forth from the box. This scene left the other party astonished. Is this the demon god sex demon Buddha? It's simply a masterpiece. This jade Buddha is worth at least 500,000 taels. If it can be done without the palm leader's knowledge, complete the transaction, I will definitely make a huge profit. Moreover, this item has an unknown origin. The other party must also want to sell it quickly. After some thought, he immediately decided to ask for a high price. I can only offer you 200,000. Qian pretended to struggle with his expression. After some thought, he still agreed. But he still made a request. You need to give me the money immediately, and use untraceable small denomination notes. After a while, Qian walked back into the woods. What an easy person to deceive. If I attack that guy's vault tonight, I can definitely get another several 100,000. In that case, the Palm Leader's faction will definitely suffer an unprecedented blow. Once those forces get the news, they will surely suspect the Bai Xuan. The boy and the girl only achieved first place in the Dragon and Phoenix banquet. Yet, it provoked the hostility of all righteous sects in the martial world. Among them, the Palm Leaders faction even publicly attacked the lonely girl. But the boy, who had long anticipated this, raided the Palm Leaders faction's wealth a day in advance. The Palm leader Zhang Shan was shocked to hear the news. Our treasury has actually been robbed. The shopkeeper who traded with the boy last night was kneeling below. Yes, when we opened the vault today, all the mechanisms were destroyed. The antiques and cash inside are all gone. However, we also discovered the anomaly that appeared yesterday. The Bai Shuan sent the inner hallmaster here, and even brought out the legendary demon god Jade Buddha to hand over to us. Zhang Shan immediately sensed something strange. How could they entrust such a treasure? And on the same day, all the finances and money were stolen. Is it really just a coincidence? Could it be that this shopkeeper staged this himself? But he doesn't have the guts to go that far. And I know that inner hall master. He wouldn't be so reckless. Then there is only one last possibility. It was the Bai Shuan who planned this. During this time, we have been supporting each other in the martial arts world, maintaining a close relationship. Why would they suddenly do something like this? At this moment, a figure burst into the room, shouting, "Master Leader, something big has happened. The blacksmith shop has been attacked." Hearing this, Zhang Shan was immediately furious. Are you all useless? Such an important thing. How could you dare to lose it? At the same time, on a mountain path, a horse-drawn carriage loaded with weapons was moving forward. Sworn was sitting inside. I didn't expect the blacksmith shop of the Palm Leader could actually produce such good weapons. I seem to have heard these are all weapons to be delivered to the Bai Shuan. Now, I have also left traces of the Bai Shuan at the blacksmith shop. Now, it's a dog-eat-dog situation to watch. Wang couldn't help but praise the young man. Yeah, they wouldn't dare to directly question the Bai Shuan. And tonight, the award ceremony for the Dragon and Phoenix Feast is about to be held. Not getting a definite answer. During this time, Zhang Shan will keep doubting and overthinking the award ceremony. This year, those who received awards are the ones who have made great contributions. Right, Miss Zheng, who destroyed the mechanisms, and Yang Chang, who killed the lust demon bug. Although Zheng Lion told me last time that this matter was not done by him. But becoming a phoenix is also a great boost for Zheng Jianmen. Soon, the time came for the award ceremony of the Dragon and Phoenix Feast. At this time, Zheng Lion was the only one attending the banquet. Being alone, he could only awkwardly respond to those congratulating him. This left Zheng Lion somewhat at a loss. They should actually thank that person. I haven't seen him for a long time. Ever since he took me to Kangshan Gate a few days ago. Then he left Zheng Jianmen. His reason was that he came to Wuhan and cannot always rely on other sects. Upon hearing this, Zheng Lion looked somewhat lost. I have known you for so long. When have you ever cared about these details? Yet the vow still insists on leaving. Although I also really don't want to, but I have things I need to do. And after this award ceremony, becoming a phoenix isn't a bad thing. All you need is confidence. Destroying the mechanisms is your own strength. When we meet again later, you can treat me to a meal with your reward. But Zheng Lion still felt a bit confused. At the beginning, why did you agree to accompany me to the Dragon and Phoenix banquet? I have always understood. You have no interest in these things at all. Yet the vow smiled. Did you forget the day we first met? I just arrived in Wuhan. I was just having a meal. Jiang Renji suddenly came to find me. At that time, although you were overwhelmed by Jiang Renji's aura, you still managed to stop him. This is my first time in 10 years of wandering the martial world that someone would stand up for a stranger like me and take action. Upon hearing this, Zheng Lion was also taken aback. It seems you haven't had a good time wandering for the past 10 years. The vow, however, had a determined look in my eyes as I entered the martial world. Which is not what you imagine. Suddenly, furious shout interrupted Zhang Lian's memories. I saw Jiang Renji pushing his way through the crowd. On the small island. Is what you showed really your true strength? Zhang Lian immediately came back to her senses. This annoying guy is looking for trouble. Jiang Renji was still relentless ahead. You managed to escape from that height alone, that's one thing. But how did you destroy that huge mechanism? I have no idea at all. When did your martial arts become so powerful? Zhang Lian didn't know how to respond to the situation. She could only reply that it was good luck. Upon hearing this, Jiang Renji was even more confident of victory. Then I guessed correctly. You must have used some underhanded means. I have to expose his true nature. In the next moment, he directly drew the long sword in his hand. In that case, I'll come to learn the Phoenix's martial arts. If you really solve that trap by yourself, then you shouldn't be afraid of my challenge, right? If you don't even dare to accept my challenge, what qualifications do you have to receive the Phoenix's reward? The surrounding heroes immediately began to discuss among themselves. I'm also quite curious how that situation was resolved and the mechanism destroyed. Jiang Renji even placed a big hat on Zhang Lian. You Zhang's sword sect wouldn't be colluding with those villains, would you? Dragon and Phoenix Swallow. You were with a suspicious person before, but he didn't come today. At this moment, the taciturn Zhang Lian immediately drew her long sword. Alright, if you want to duel, I'll accompany you. In the next moment, Jiang Renji instantly disappeared from his spot. The long sword slashed straight down towards Zhang Lian's face. Zhang Lian merely dodged slightly to avoid the attack. This scene surprised Jiang Renji a bit. I didn't give him a chance to sneak attack at all. He actually managed to dodge. Before he could react, Zhang Lian's long sword slashed straight towards Jiang Renji. After one strike, Jiang Renji's face was immediately cut by the long sword. Suddenly, the whole place fell silent. Only Jiang Renji's long sword fell from his hand, making a sound as it hit the ground. Zhang Lian gracefully sheathed her long sword. Is it good now? The surrounding heroes immediately began to discuss. Just with one sword. If he took it seriously, Jiang Renji was no match at all. This is really embarrassing. After provoking for so long, this is the result. Jiang Shan was also angrily watching the scene from behind the crowd. How dare he do this in front of so many people, making our Palm Heart gang lose face. And behind him, the leader of the Zhang sword sect was being praised by the head of the Baishuanba family. Hearing this, Jiang Shan felt like he had fallen into an ice cellar. Ever since the theft of money and the blacksmith shop, I felt that. But now, the head of the Baishuanba family has this attitude towards the leader of the Zhang sword sect. Most likely thinks the Zhang sword sect has gained too much prestige and wants to abandon us and that little girl. Tonight, they must be dealt with together. At this moment, Kai Yan was completely unaware of what was happening with the dragon and Phoenix Swallow, still in his own Kang Tian sect, changing places. He couldn't sleep at all and felt a bit uneasy. The young man never expected that he had only been away from the girl for a few days, and his sect was facing a crisis of extermination. The Palm Star Gang had mobilized the entire gang and was determined to eliminate the Zhang sword sect. At this time, Jiang Renji returned to the Palm Star Gang, extremely furious, and ordered his subordinates to bring that ungrateful woman from Zhang Lian to me. The subordinates were also taken aback. Are you saying I should go kidnap the second miss of the Zhang sword sect? Jiang Renji's expression was grim. I want her to experience a pain worse than death. Just then, the leader of the Palm Star Gang suddenly burst into the room, startling Jiang Renji. But what his father said next shocked him even more. "Tonight, we will eliminate the Zheng sword sect, leaving no one behind. I want all the sects in the martial world to see the consequences of provoking our Palm Star gang. Go gather all the experts in the gang now, and head to the Zheng sword sect." In an instant, the 3 people present immediately set off, storming out of the room. Meanwhile, inside the Zheng sword sect, Zheng Lion seemed to hear some noise, suddenly waking up from bed. After carefully observing the silent surroundings, he also noticed that something was off. In the next moment, he immediately picked up the sword at the bedside and hurriedly ran outside. Why is there such a heavy killing intent at the Zheng sword sect? It feels as if many people are surrounding us tightly. I need to check on my family first, to see if they are in danger. But unexpectedly, at this moment, a masked assassin lunged straight at Zheng Lion with a sword. Zheng Lion hurriedly dodged the sword and quickly drew his long sword, slicing down towards the assassin's neck. In an instant, blood gushed from the assassin's neck, and he fell straight in front of Zheng Lion. This scene made Zheng Lion's hand holding the sword tremble uncontrollably. This was his first time killing someone. After a few breaths, Zheng Lion regained his composure. Now is not the time to think about this. The assassin has already entered the Zheng sword sect. I need to quickly reunite with my family. Meanwhile, inside the Kang Tian sect, Kai Yan was still somewhat restless, looking at the sky. Suddenly, a loud shout from Wu Ying came from behind. Something has happened. The people we hired to monitor the Zheng sword sect have sent word that dozens of martial arts experts have gathered at the gate. Surround them. There. I need to hurry over. Otherwise, the Zheng sword sect is very likely to be exterminated. Meanwhile, inside the Zheng sword sect, Zheng Lion was fighting alone against dozens of black-clad men. With each swing of Zheng Lion's sword, a life of a black-clad man would be taken. Amidst the continuous killing, Zheng Lion's expression gradually became numb. His white clothes were stained red with the blood of these black-clad men. Although his strength was gradually failing, he still stood firm in the front. Because behind him, there were family members he needed to protect. The leader of the black-clad men also arrived here. You, little girl, are quite impressive on the battlefield. No wonder the young master has taken a liking to you. But how long do you think you can hold out alone? Can one person really protect those family members behind you? Look at your sister and mother. What can they do now? Zheng Lion, however, was not swayed at all. I must hold on now. Father was injured while protecting the family. Now, the only one who can stand up for the Zheng sword sect is me. The black-clad men continued to taunt Zheng Lion. If you surrender to us now, we can choose to spare your lives. But if you remain stubborn, don't blame us for being merciless. At this moment, Zheng Lion suddenly remembered the vows and words he had spoken. Do you really believe what these people say? It was as if Kai Yan was speaking beside him. But now, the only one standing here is me. He has already left the Zheng sword sect. Even if he got the news and rushed over, it would be too late. Now I must hold on alone. For the Zheng sword sect, this is our sect's own matter. In the next moment, Zheng Lion immediately swung his bloodied long sword and slashed straight at the black-clad men in front. But unexpectedly, the leader from behind suddenly launched a sneak attack, knocking the long sword from Zheng Lion's hand. Then he commanded the black-clad men beside him, just leave this girl. Kill everyone else. Leave no survivors. Several black-clad men immediately brandished their weapons and swung them straight at the women and children lying on the ground. But after swinging, there was no blood spraying out. Instead, Zheng Lion reached out with one hand and tightly grasped the incoming long sword. This scene left the black-clad men utterly shocked. Who are you? How can you catch a sword with your bare hands? He saw the gloves that Kai Yan had given him, emitting a dazzling light. But in the next second, Zhang Lion suddenly spat out blood and collapsed to the ground. These gloves consume too much internal energy. My internal energy can't support this at all. If I could be like he said, if my internal energy were a bit stronger, you wouldn't be in this kind of crisis, right? At this moment, the black-clad man furiously swung his long sword, chopping downwards. You little girl, go die suddenly. At this moment, a giant dragon made of internal energy rushed straight towards the black-clad man. It was just a flash. The black-clad man was instantly swallowed by the giant dragon, turning into a mist of blood. This scene left all the surrounding black-clad men in shock. What is this thing? Seeing this scene, Zhang Lion's eyes unexpectedly overflowed with tears. Kai Yan stood straight in front of Zhang Lion, emanating a murderous aura. But at that moment, he still gently asked Zhang Lion, "Are you seriously injured?" Zhang Lion's tears immediately streamed down, looking at the boy who was protecting her. It's okay. They are the notorious Palm Heart Gang in the martial world. All sects that provoke them will be exterminated. However, tonight, the one they wanted to kill was actually the boy's betrothed. Just as the Palm Heart Gang was about to succeed, the boy finally arrived at the scene. Seeing the person coming from ahead, the assassins from the Palm Heart Gang showed no fear at all. Everyone, charge with me. First, kill this little moment. The remaining black-clad men all raised their long knives, swinging them at Kai Yan. At this moment, the already enraged Kai Yan showed no hesitation and punched towards the black-clad man. After Kai Yan's punch came down, it actually embedded his entire fist into the body of the black-clad man. But he showed no hesitation at all and directly stomped on another black-clad man's leg, breaking it. Then, with one kick, he brutally crushed the head of the fallen black-clad man. The leader was incredibly shocked at this scene. What kind of monster is this kid? I can't even see his movements clearly. I don't even know where he is now. In just a breath's time, the surrounding black-clad men fell one after another. Blood splattered everywhere. By the time he reacted, Kai Yan had already arrived behind him. Then, with one punch, he knocked the leader down. At this moment, Kai Yan had regained a bit of his sanity. He looked at the weapons this person brought. The weapons belong to the Palm Heart Gang, right? You are one of Jiang Renji's subordinates. Then he swung his sword downwards. The leader quickly shouted to wait. It was the order of the Palm Heart Gang leader to let us come and kill everyone from the Zhang Jianmen. But young Master Zhang wants me to spare that woman. Upon hearing this, Kai Yan looked at him with a face full of killing intent. Why is he so kind? Sensing the terrifying killing intent from Kai Yan, the leader quickly explained, "It's because young Master Zhang said he wanted to take him away alone." Kai Yan slowly crouched down to look at this person. I see, so where is that guy now? Tell me. The leader quickly explained. He is currently waiting in the woods to the south. I will tell you everything I know. Please, spare me. After hearing this, Kai Yan swung his long sword without hesitation. He slashed downwards. This is completely different from your attitude when you were killing just now. Seeing this scene, Zhang Lion was frozen in place. Her expression was also incredibly despondent. It's because of me again that Kai Yan killed so many people. Then she slowly got up and walked towards Kai Yan. Worried, she asked how he was. At this moment, Kai Yan finally showed a smile. I'm sorry I'm late. Upon hearing this, Zhang Lion suddenly laughed. Why are you apologizing? I should be thanking you for coming to save me. Wu Ying then shouted and ran over. Young master, you ran too fast. I can't keep up at all. Seeing this, Kai Yan quickly instructed Wu Ying. You came just in time. First, move these family members to Xinfeng Manor. Please ask the ugly monster to help them with treatment. Then prepare a bit. We will settle things with the Palm Heart Gang tonight. Meanwhile, in the southern woods, Jiang Renji was anxiously waiting. Why does this kid take so long to handle something? It's already past the time. Still not here. Suddenly, he sensed someone appearing behind him. He quickly turned around. Did you bring the person over? But the next second, he was frozen in place. Why are you here, you brat? Sworn suddenly shouted. Hurry up and leave this place. Bai Qiuan's family sent assassins over. I was just at Zhangjianmen when suddenly assassins attacked. I hid by myself first. Just then, another group of assassins appeared. They killed all those assassins and took away all the people from Zhangjianmen. I heard their conversation. It seems these people are from the Baishuanba family. Jiang Renji was instantly shocked. Did someone get lucky and break through our encirclement to report? This news further confirmed the fact that we were abandoned by the Baishuanba family. Sworn continued to relay the information. One of the assassins, before dying, said they were sent by the Palm Heart Gang. He also revealed your situation here. You better hurry back and tell your father. To resolve this matter, Jiang Renji suddenly realized something. Why are you telling me all this? Sworn immediately laughed. Guess why? I remember. Your family should be quite wealthy, right? This information is very important. You just need to give me 1,000 taels of silver. Jiang Renji turned and left upon seeing this. These are all baseless rumors. Don't spread rumors outside. Then hurriedly left the woods. I need to investigate the truth of the news first. When he returned to the Palm Heart Gang with the news, the room was in chaos. The Baishuanba family has also intervened. I felt something was off when they hadn't returned for so long. It just felt a bit strange. The people sent to investigate only saw the bodies. Jiang Renji immediately responded. Zheng Jianmen doesn't have that kind of strength to resist those assassins. What that guy said should be true. I didn't expect the Baishuanba family really abandoned us. They chose Zheng Jianmen. I originally thought that as long as we dealt with Zheng Jianmen, it would be fine. I didn't expect it to reach this level. Zhang Shan's expression gradually became serious. If that's really the case, we're doomed. I know too much information about the Baishuanba family. Then he directly took out a box of luminous pearls. You all take these to the safe house first. There should be a few hundred inside. It's all the property of our Palm Heart Gang. One is worth 50,000 taels in the outside world. At this time, the two are also filled with confusion. Father, aren't you escaping with us? Zhang Shan looked firmly outside. If we escape, we definitely won't get away. The information I have. The Nanyu Alliance might be interested. Since the Baishuanba family has abandoned us, then let's join the Nanyu Alliance. At this time, Qian had already arrived at the Palm Heart Gang. He heard their conversation. After Wu Ying gathered everyone, he also rushed over. I've already settled the people from Zheng Jianmen. If we proceed according to this plan, it will be a significant blow to the reputation of the Baishuanba family. Moreover, the Nanyu Alliance and the Baishuanba family will also develop a rift. It can be said to be killing two birds with one stone. But no matter what, the entire Palm Heart Gang must die tonight.